Welcome to Bad Dice, the UK's first Warhammer Fantasy Battle podcast. We bring you news, reviews and updates from all around the UK tournament scene. Your hosts are Ben Curry and Ben Johnson. We hope you enjoy the show, and if you do, be sure to let us know. You can contact us on thebens@baddice.co.uk or leave a positive review on iTunes. Welcome to episode 35 of the Bad Dice podcast. I'm Ben Curry.
And I'm Ben Johnson.
And this episode we're going to talk about Orcs and Goblins.
Yeah, but a greenskin action.
Yeah, so the book's been out quite a while now, and we thought we'd revisit it, seeing as they've had a new release of some new toys. But before then, we're going to talk about some news. So what's in the news?
The prices are going up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Widespread price increases across the whole range, which is a bit rough, if you ask me.
It's not it's not ideal, is it?
No.
But
So it's what, June the 1st, all the prices are going up. Basically, if a box set is like 13 quid, it's going up to 15. It's 12 quid, isn't it?
yeah, the £12 are going up to 15. The 15s are going up to 17.
Yeah, everything's like 2 or 3 quid. All the blister box packs are going up by either 50p or £1.
Yeah.
All the metal box sets, so like the 5 men for 12 quid is now £3 a man.
Yeah, it's
A bit rough. It seems
it's
like
very rough.
All these
actually.
rumours for the new edition, all needing the new core stuff, and all the core stuff's suddenly gone up in prices. Call me a cynic and all that.
What we got here? Plastic Black Orcs were 17, going to be 20. Bloodletters were 12, going to be 15. Army books as well. All the army books and codexes are going from 12 to 17.50. 15 to 17.50. Now, it wasn't so long ago. They were 12 quid. I'm sure it wasn't.
So you said this on the phone to me the other day, and I think it's longer ago than you think for a 12 quid army book.
Maybe. But
Do you think you paid 12 quid for your Orc one? In what, 2006?
I can't remember.
No. I don't know. It seems, but yeah, 17.5 quid for an army book
I
does
seem
seem
to
a
think
lot.
it was when the Space Marine book came out, the current Space Marine book.
The current one?
Yeah.
That's only been out a year.
Yeah.
Year and a half.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, right, you think the increase is...
I thought that came out at 15 quid. They all followed after that. But
Right.
I could be well off. I'm not sure, but it's 17.50 for. I mean, I like to have all the army books.
No, it's a bit longer for the Space Marine one. It's about 18 months, I reckon.
Yeah. So there you go. So say 18 months ago they were 12 quid. It's quite a jump, that, isn't it? £5.5 in 2 years.
What I can't understand is, like, across the world we're in a recession, you know what I mean? And then they're just banging the prices up.
Yeah.
Massive increases, way over inflation. I don't know, I can't wait up.
That's quite an interesting one. Assault on Black Reach gone from 50 to 55. Is Skull Pass done the same?
More than likely. But then again, I'd imagine Skull Pass isn't on the range anymore.
No.
You're looking for B, it's Battle for Skull Pass.
Is it?
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. No, it's not on there. Interesting. So, other news. What else is about? What have you seen? Some 40k releases,
Yeah, some
isn't
new
there? Not much
40K
fantasy stuff.
Stuff in there. New tanks, new Manticore with a big Jock-off missile launcher thingy on the back of it. Plastic. What's it called? Eldar prism thing.
Fire prism tank thing.
That's the one. You can now make a Night Stalker out of it as well. Couple of command sprues and that sort of jazz. Look nice.
Note for Warhammer though.
No. Well, the Orcs are out this month, aren't they? But obviously we've seen.
Yeah,
them.
we spoke about them last episode.
Yeah.
Warhammer World are having a relaunch. Now, we were down there at the weekend, and one of the staff gave me a flyer and asked me if I could mention it on the podcast, which amused me no end.
Yes.
So yeah, I said I'll give them a shout. So yeah, if you're around the Nottingham area or fancy a trip up to the Nottingham area, on the 29th of May, which is the bank holiday weekend, Warhammer World's relaunching. So I don't know what that involves. It says come down, join us for a day of activities from Bugman's Bar, Warhammer World and the Hobby Bar. Our grand reopening promises fun for all the family and information about our new and exciting products. So yeah, get yourself down to Warhammer World. I might pop in. Not doing it that weekend, I don't think.
No.
See what the weather's like. It's bank holiday weekend, so we're chucking it down, I thought.
Oh, that's certainly we're absolutely hammering it down.
Yeah.
Well, that's normally Club Challenge weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it used to be. Shame it's not this time.
Yeah.
Talking of tournaments, Cardiff Carnage has gone up.
It has.
What do you think?
Not sure. I'd
No.
like to go. I'd like to go again, but it's again, it's a bad time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so busy. I mean, we're coming back from the ETC, and then there's lots of other events popped up and things like that. So, I don't know. Not sure.
I do fancy going again, I've got to be honest.
See, we're going to Cardiff shortly for the ETC Six Nations.
That's right.
So, I don't think I need two trips to Cardiff this year.
It is good, though, isn't it?
It's only good because of all the guys that go, and if none of the guys that go are going because of the rules pack and because of the event, the format of the event, I don't know. I didn't go last year. You did. You said you still enjoyed it.
Oh, I had a grand time. Yeah, definitely.
I don't really fancy playing.
I'm not sure on 1,999.
Yeah.
Got to be honest.
I like to use my Lord choices and all that. But then if it's an eighth edition event, things might change.
Well, yeah, you'd like to think so, wouldn't you? To be honest with you, I'd like to see a lot of these events until at least January. Just play an 8th edition.
Yeah, just normal.
Don't try and fuck about with it. Just play the damn game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Trying to mess with it the week it comes out, I can't see the point.
No, of course.
Just let the new edition sort itself out and then see where it stands.
So, what do you think to the fact that the Warlords GT is going to be running at 7th edition 8 weeks after release?
Well, I don't think it will.
You don't?
No, I think they've changed their mind.
Oh, fair enough.
I do. Well, I think 8 weeks is a massive amount of time.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it's 8 weeks. Might be longer than that, isn't it? What are we on? First week of July? No, it's more than 8 weeks. It's probably close to 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Ant, sort it out. He won't be listening. He'll be pissed as a fart, won't he?
Yeah, went to a Warhammer wedding on Saturday night. Ant Spears, so congratulations to him and Heather. And we had a good time, didn't we?
Oh, I had a grand time.
Lots of wine and lots of dancing.
Lots of wine, lots of dancing. Oh, bless.
So, on that subject, Fortnite Fantasy, what have you been up to? It has been 2 weeks again to the day.
Yeah, another 2 weeks. I think 5 games of Warhammer, maybe 6 games of Warhammer. I'm not sure. I'm just going to look at my book now. I should have done this probably before.
Open your little book.
Open my little book.
Yeah, well, we obviously had a bit of a get together over the weekend, didn't we, for the ETC practice?
Yeah.
Few guys together. That was a good laugh. Got 5 games in Friday night and Saturday day.
No, just 5 games for me.
And other than that, I don't think I've played many. I think I played a couple in the week. I played against Skaven and against Beastman with my Tempest Rising Wood Elf army.
That was week today, wasn't it?
No.
No.
It was recording a week today. It was... Oh, yeah, sorry, a week ago today. Yeah, right. We went down Warhammer War, didn't we? And you played Adam Horse Demons.
Yeah.
How'd you get on?
I lost by 1,000, but I think he did me. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. His dice.
Were they good?
Yes, they were very, very good. And he just stares at you with that.
What?
What?
Me?
What look on his face? Everything I did, just no, having none of it. But also as well, I'm not very happy with my list.
No? What was in your list?
I don't want to tell them. It's a secret.
Come on, behave yourself.
A Templar, Grandmaster chap, Captain on a peg, 2 level 2s, big unit knights, small unit knights, some crossbows, some outriders, some pistoliers, flagellants, cannon, mortar, volley gun.
Okay. And what was Adam using?
Demons.
Just demons in general?
Just, again, comp demons. Good fucking luck with that.
Well, it's tough, isn't it? Because they're always good.
Yeah, you just end up with lots of demons.
Yeah.
I think he had a Slaanesh Herald, a Khorne Herald on a Jugger, a Tzinch Herald, big unit of horrors, big unit of nets, big unit of bloodletters, 2 scouting Nurgling Jobbies.
Yep.
A Fiend, 2 Furies. I think that was about 2 Flesh Hounds.
Yeah, sounds about right.
You just get I mean, all the demon units were 20 plus.
Oh yeah, I
So,
imagine.
hard work, and corn juggers.
Well, I'm luckily I didn't have to play. I got to play Beastman, so it was a bit easier on me.
A little bit.
So yeah, I played against Mort Wildman's Beast, and he had a Jabba Scythe, which I was quite intrigued to see if it'd do any good, and it didn't.
Well, no, it did. It's really good at dying, isn't it?
Well, we deployed, and it was sort of Wood Elves sort of spread out everywhere. Beastman all in the middle because he had a load of big blocks. He had big unit of Beast Gore, big unit of Gore, unit of Minotaurs, I think, a few chariots, Jabba Scythe.
You sure he had some Minotaurs? Did he not just have Minotaur characters?
Oh, you're right, because he got his Minotaurs out of the case to show me. And after we finished deploying, I was like, "You're not putting the Minotaurs down?" And he's like, "No, I just got one to show you." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, fair enough. So yeah, you're right. So it's like a couple of chariots. He had the guy on a Gore on a chariot with.
Don't tell everybody.
Oh, it'd be alright. He would not be using that again.
Yes, he will. He was brilliant.
Oh,
Don't tell him.
I'm telling.
Don't do it.
okay. So
Mark, I'm telling him not to tell him. I'm telling him.
he had a beast Gore on
Don't
a
do
chariot
it.
with the brass cleaver, and he lured me into charging 2 units of Dryads in. So he got 10 attacks on me. That was insane.
That was the one trick in the book.
No, well, I don't think he's using it now. Either way, no one listens to this.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and it hammered me. I couldn't believe it. I ran in. I thought, should I attack the rider or should I attack the chariot? And it's like, well, I don't know what armor you can get in that. So I think we can get like a 3-up save. I wasn't sure. I thought it might be a bit tough. So I decided to attack the chariot and did nothing, like 2 wounds to it or something. And he just beat the shit out of all the Dryads. Luckily, they held. So he got to beat the shit out of him again next turn.
Your face was a picture when he says,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah.
10
yeah.
attacks." Ha!
Yeah, with hatred. It was like us fighting Dark Elves. It was rubbish. I suppose I kind of deserved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bit of a strange game. He rushed everything forward at me. The Wood Elves just faded away, and I thought he made a mistake putting a unit of screening raiders in front of both his big blocks. It let me put Wild Riders in front of him, so his blocks couldn't see me. And his raiders can't really charge me because if the Wild Riders break them and panic everything nearby. I mean, the blocks were frenzied, but he still had a lot of chaff units nearby that would panic. So I went in and blocked him up for a few turns and then sort of got out, and I couldn't get away from everything. I knew I'd lose the Wild Riders, so I gave him the flank with a Jabba Slide, thinking, well, he's going to go in the flank, and he did. He went in and it got him into shooting range then, and yeah, dropped it like a sack of shit. Not very good. And so he's been texting me, what do you think I should use instead of that? I was like, try the Gorgon. He texts back. He said, yeah, I used that last night. It died quicker. So I really don't know. Beastman, eh?
I just think that the big flying monsters are just going to get dropped.
Oh,
Against anything with
against
any
elves,
shooting.
Empire, dwarves,
Yeah.
just going to
Not
shoot
gonna
them
last
so
5
quick,
minutes.
you know.
It's a bit like Giant.
Yeah. Fun to use, but
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He said it's fun to use, so he's going to keep using it.
And he's made a good model for it as well.
Oh, yeah, he was using the Great Spine Beast, is it, from Forge World? With Balrog wings. And he does look good.
It's something like that, isn't it? I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Yeah, I saw you talking to him at the weekend, and you was doing the same thing as I was. I ordered a 50mm base near the feet to see if you could get it on a 50mm instead of a chariot base.
Yeah, you do that easy.
You reckon?
Yeah. We've talked him through it. We've
Okay, fair enough.
counselled him through the process. He was a little bit concerned about wrecking his £55 model.
Oh, yeah.
So, no, we've sorted that out.
So my other game on that night was against Skaven. He didn't really have much stuff. He had like 5 units and they were massive. Big, like 40-odd plague monks pushing a furnace. Because this was Pete Foley. He doesn't normally play comp tournaments. So when I was like, can you use this? He was like, what's all this about?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. This ain't Warhammer. But he wrote a list, and in the end he was like, the only thing I'm breaking is the plague monks, just because I want to use all my plague monks. I like it. And it's not that bad anyway. Wild Riders got in the side of them and sorted them out. They were there forever. Just grinded them down forever. So he had a load of clan rats, load of slaves, all big like units of 25 or 30 or something. Not much shooting, bit of magic. And Wood Elves kind of did the Wood Elf thing. He had a Doom Wheel as well, which I dropped in 2 rounds of shooting from 2 bowmen, which I thought was quite lucky.
Just 2 bowmen, that is impressive.
Yeah. So, what, 1 2s to hit. It's short range, 2s to hit, 6s to wound.
It's not bad though, you only get 4 shots.
Hmm?
From your 2 bowmen.
Prat, 2 units of bowmen.
You said 2 bowmen?
Idiot. So yeah, drop the doom wheel. Wild Raz spent all game fighting the flank of the plague monks and just holding it there. And in the end, I got quite a big win. It's quite good. Wood elves still just dance about and shoot stuff. So yeah, it's quite happy with that.
It's kind of all they've got.
Yeah.
It either works or it doesn't. It's not like they can start running around and jumping in the front of blocks, is it?
Oh no. Unless there's slaves. You just put your dryads in front of him and go, come on, charge me. Let's be having you.
Yeah. But I mean,
even then,
it's not done deal, is
no,
it?
you only get 6 in combat, don't you? 12 attacks, 8. You should be killing probably 5 and winning, but it doesn't take a lot to go wrong. Yeah.
Oh dear.
So what other games have you been playing?
Well, that was it for games in the week, to be honest with you. Because why have we not played?
Because when I rang you to go out and play, you was like, "Oh, I can't be bothered."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's right. Because we got back from the South Coast, didn't we? Recorded.
Yep.
And then played on the following Tuesday, and then we went to Maelstrom on Friday night, didn't we? Straight
Yeah.
from
Well, I had
work.
another game before then. I played Bobo down at over at Ibis. Went for a game, and it was all going well. Dark House was high elves. I was up. I was happy. And then it all went bad, and I lost my dragon and half my army in one turn. He got a star dragon in the back of my dragon, and I tried to flee, and it wasn't happening, and that was that. I'd set him up nice. He'd brought his wizard out to, well, I'd shoved everything forward, knowing that he'd have to bring his army out to shoot me if he wants to.
Yeah.
And then that gives him the chance to get in. He did. He brought his wizards out to zap mine, and brought his star dragon over as well to get both my wizards in the Dark Rider unit. And he managed to clear them all out. I thought I was a bit hard done by with that, because I double wanded his spell on like a 6 or something for magic missile. I double wand it, and that finished off the unit. And then I thought, well, I could use my harpies to keep his dragon from being able to charge my dragon, and then my assassin and my dragon with life taker with a breath weapon should be able to clear his 2 wizards and 3 shadow warriors. Should be able to kill them. Until I miscast with the one wizard I had left, which was fleeing, rallied. Then I miscast, gave him a spell, and he zapped the assassin to death, which meant the dragon didn't kill any of the shadow warriors, and then the wizard could charge out the shadow warrior unit into the harpies, rank them up, and then the star dragon go in the back of my dark elf dragon.
Oh dear.
So yeah, it was a bit rough, and yeah, we carried on, but there wasn't much point after that.
That's funny.
I think it was like a 16-4 in the end to Bobo. Got a lot of points back. Chariots just trundled forward.
Yeah.
Because Bobo said at the start, "Oh, the chariots are horrible," and like Joe and Andy were there like, "Oh, what's so bad about them? They're not going to do it. They're not going to catch out." And I was like, just gonna trundle forward, amble about a bit, and you know what I mean. In the end, they got a unit of dragon princes and got a unit bowman and didn't die.
Yeah.
So.
They're going to get the bowman, aren't they? The strength 3 is just not.
Never going to do
enough
it.
damage to it, can it?
So yeah, then like I say, went to Maelstrom Games on the Friday night. We've just gone.
Because we were having an ETC practice weekend, practice day on the Saturday. And
so
Dan and Russ and
Dan Heelan from Heelanham was up, and there's Russ and Jack and a couple of others. No.
Yeah, and then Biggs turned
Michael
up
Biggs
later.
turned up later, yeah.
And Bobo was there as well. Wasn't
Yeah.
So they were obviously coming down from Pompey, weren't they? So they want to make a weekend of it. So I got to play Jack Armstrong first, which is only the second time I've ever played him. He had his lizard's eyes, my empire. He decided to run at it, and
you rubbed your hands
a little bit.
See, I saw this, and he was sort of setting up. He was setting up, and then he heavily weighted one flank where the steam tank was already deployed.
Yeah,
and that sort of surprised me. And the place he chose to run was at the steam tank.
He had a unit of 12 or 14 Saurus or something like that. And as soon as I saw them in his list, I was like, right, steam tank's going opposite them, because
they can't get out of the way.
He's either got to spirit it, which shit happens, or he's got to put skinks and pterodons in front of it. Otherwise, the Saurus are dying, and there's not a lot he can do about it. So that's exactly what happened, really. That went forward. It slammed into the front of a stag to start with and deleted that. That was quite impressive.
Yeah, it was a big charge as well, wasn't it? It was a 15 inch.
Yeah, 5-point charge. The shooting just shot. The Cold War Knights is quite good. He just kept pushing them forward, and my knights kept backing off until the flagellants went in the side. And I thought, right, that's fine. They can stay there for a while, 3 or 4 turns. Eventually wipes them out. Oh, no, that was it. Sorry. I baited him with a unit of knights. One kept backing off. One just stood up against some impassable. So that when he charged me, I fled, died instantly. But it meant that he'd left his flank open to the flagellants.
Yep.
Thought pin him there for the rest of the game or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Even then, by the time he kills them all, he's got to reform around this difficult ground. All the time I was shooting him, which is exactly what happened. And it was messy, to be honest with you. He had no men left.
Oh dear.
He had a slan in a wood going, oh crap.
Yep, didn't like that. Where's all my boys gone?
Yeah. So.
Well, while you was playing Jack, I was playing Dan. It was a rematch of our South Coast game. We'd been talking about it because, again, ETC practice, we've been chatting about what we thought we both did right and wrong. And we had some new ideas for the Lizardmen we wanted to try out. And to be fair, we set up, and Dan's army was just the generic Lizardmen, thousands of skinks, 2 stags, slam.
Oh, yeah, proper thousands of skinks, isn't it?
And it's things like 70 skinks.
Three pipe units, 3 blowpipe units.
Yeah, and 3 cohorts, and then loads. We had razordons with loads of skinks on them, all in the big forest. And then just his slan and his stags around the back of the forest, and Scarvetch was there to deter me coming too close. And just heavens, Benjamin kept trying to call down the comets, which I was quite happy with because on 4 dice he's not dead set to cast it, is he? So he's normally getting 1 off a turn, and I'm stopping it on dice and scrolls. Until about turn 5 when I says, don't you think you should be magic missile me 3 times a turn so I can't stop it? And he was like, okay, we'll give that a go. Zap, 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 zap.
Was this not at the South Coast?
No, this was at Maelstrom. And South Coast took metal magic against me.
Got it.
And then, zap, zap, zap. Oh, I've got a load of points. I win.
Yeah.
And literally it was like last turn lightning bolts. He wiped out all the Dark Riders and 2 wizards, which I thought was a bit rough, but I tried to dispel 2 dice versus 2 dice, 3 dice versus 3 dice, failed them both. And that was that. So, yeah, Dan won. 11-9, I think it was in the end. At that point, I was up about 12-8.
Yeah. Well, mine against Jack was an 18-2.
Yeah.
It was horrible. You know what I mean? It was. Don't quite know why he decided to run. Well, I do know why he decided to run at me.
See what happens.
Well, he just wanted to push his men about. I think,
Yeah,
Friday night.
Friday night, a few beers, push the men about and see what happens, yeah.
So after that, I played Dan. He took metal as well on his slan, trying to stop the tank, which I think is probably right.
Yeah, more than likely.
Heavens is nice, if, like you say, if you can just keep lightning bolting all my crap. But to start with, you've got to come out, and if you're not ethereal, you're in a bit of trouble. And also, how do you stop the tank without giving up 300 points worth of skinks?
It used to be easy in the old book because you had your croc scores, 9 attacks at strength 7, hitting automatically and all that. And now it's not so easy.
No, whatever you put in front of it, unless it's badly hurt, is going to die. I think you can't charge it with a stag.
Yeah, no, because you just take the impact hits yourself.
And to be honest, I do with you as well. I don't think stag would do enough.
More than likely not.
To stop it grinding your back for a couple of points. Burning alignment might hurt it a bit, but
6 to wound though, isn't it?
I know,
and you can do that to it without getting into combat with it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. Why are you pinning it down with skinks? But yeah, so he took metal and hid everything, which spot on, to be honest with you. And it was a 10-10, 800 points each.
Did he roll a comet on his skink priest on the engine?
Yeah, he did.
Did he get it down?
Got it down once, and it just raped me.
Yeah, got a load of points.
Got a massive amount of points, yeah. Double sixed it. And then it spirited the tank. Tank had gone in and done a little bit, not a lot, mainly from shooting. He spirited the tank for, I think, 5 wounds. something
Yep.
along those lines. Did another one or two with a bit of shooting. I think it was a bit of shooting, and then I miscast and let him have a free spell, which was another spirit.
And it
Which
took the tank off.
Took the tank off, yeah. Which
Not often that dies.
it's very, very rare that dies, yeah. Well, if it hadn't have been for that, it wouldn't have died.
No.
So
What did your Pegasus guy do?
not a lot, to be honest with you. Sort of got in the way, charged a few bits and bobs, nothing major, got shot a bit, didn't like it, flew away,
Yeah.
basically. Pegasus was quite good on the Saturday, though.
Well, before we go to Saturday, my Friday night after I played Lusville while you were playing, Dan.
Yeah.
Vampires versus Dark Elves, and it was just Dark Elves stood there shooting at the vampires for 6 turns, and the vampires raising it back. I got 0 victory points, 1 table quarter. Russ got 0 victory points, other than a miscast on my wizard, and yeah, that was it. What a waste of life on a Friday night, but it was funny. We had a good 3.5 hour chat while I was playing, or whatever it was. Maybe not quite as long as that, but I did feel like I'd wasted my life somewhat. But
it's just not Warhammer.
no,
is
it's not. It's not. And then I played Jack Armstrong, and he just zerged me, shoved it straight across the board at me, and rolled me, and it was literally all my men in 5 turns. It was horrible. I shot 2 Units of Shades and an assassin at his source cav, and then stood and fired with the assassin and the Shades, and then struck first with the assassin, and then killed 2 in total.
Did you play 3 games then on Friday?
I was there bright and early.
So you played one before me then?
I played Dan. While you turned up while I was playing Dan.
Ah, that's right. That's right.
And yeah, the source cav went straight through the Shades and the assassin. That's like 400 points down, just out the window. Cheers, thanks for coming, whatever. And then second unit got bombed by pterodons, and yeah, it was horrible. It was into me. I had one ray of light. It was a unit of harpies and a chariot into 10 cohort with a scar veteran in. I killed 5 skinks just from attacks because the impact hits didn't kill any. I rolled a 1 and did nothing.
Nice.
So if the impact hits had gone off well, it'd have been on double 1s. As it was, he was on like 4 or something. He held. I mean, still a good chance of holding on double 1 with Lizardmen, but it was an overrun into his slan as well with both units. Probably about 6-7 inches. I'm not having much luck with overruns recently though. So I think it's kind of overrated.
Well, you've been whining a bit about your dice. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I don't.
It's kind of getting on my tits.
I'm not going to start again because I'll go on a rant about it. I've not had good dice this year.
No.
Just this year in general. I think it makes up for last year. I think I did well. So Saturday turns up bright and early at Warhammer World.
It was bright and early as well. They weren't even open, were they?
No. And quite a few turned up. Some of the guys from the TNG, Rob and Steve and Marcus.
Well, there's 15 of us.
Will Goodwin was over. 15 of us, really.
15 of us, yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Because,
And Andy Joyce came over, didn't he? He says, "Oh, this is a bit of an informal gathering, is it?"
yeah.
Yeah, we're just getting together, having some games. Good fun.
Well, I was I'd done a mail order on the Tuesday before, and I went in before we started playing to pick it up. I was talking to Paul Hickey, the manager.
Hickey.
And I said, "Oh, what are you playing like?" Playing, ETC Hammer. He's like, "Oh, right, okay. What's that then?" I says, "It's like 3 hours of pulling your teeth out." Like, oh, okay. Says you wouldn't enjoy it. And he comes over and he's looking at it, he's like, sort of watching a few of the games. He's like, "Yeah, I see what you mean. It's a bit intense, isn't it?" It's like, why is that hiding in a wood? Why is most of his army hiding in the wood? Why is all of his army hiding in the wood? What's happening? It's like, yeah, this is sort of it, mate. Sorry.
Hobby killers.
Hobby killers. So yeah, I got to play the wee man, Mr. Rob Downey, first game with his papa, which was interesting.
Yeah, great and clean one, wasn't it? What do you think? You happy facing that?
It's no bloodthirster.
No.
Well, it's not. I mean, it does different things, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does.
He left it in double cannon shot in the first turn.
See, Adam Hall keeps doing that with his. What's the
Well,
matter with these people?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd put him on
Did
a...
he need to?
he didn't have a mega amount of choice.
Oh, right.
Well, he did and he didn't. He had a very small army, so my cannons were going down last. And as it happened, where he put it meant I could put my cannons on the far side from most of his army, able to see pretty much all of the battlefield, and him having to move even Furies 3 times before he could get a charge in. So I was more than happy to do that.
Yeah, of course it was.
Do you know what I mean? When he deployed, I sort of looked at the cannons and thought, they're never going to die.
Yeah.
Unless they blow up, they're never going to die.
One unit of outriders next to him, just for protection.
That's right, yeah. So, yeah, 2 cannons at him, missed, but hey-ho. Well, no, sorry, I think it went overshot and got a flamer or something daft like that.
Yep.
It trundled forward. I shot him. It was about it, really.
Really?
Yeah. Gave him, after about turn 4, gave him the steam tank with the Great Unclean one. Because by this point, the Arch-Lecturer got pinned with...
the big plague bearer block,
block,
wasn't it?
yeah.
He didn't fancy the ground clear on turning around and getting back into that.
Yeah. The idea was to pump him in. The steam tank had bulked. Had gone for 5 points, got a bit greedy. Gone for 5 points to put him in with the Arch-Lector. It stalled, which wasn't the end of the world. I thought the Arch-Lector can go in anyway, because by this point I got a unit of knights. Unit of knights and my Pegasus captain coming around to support in a couple of turns. I just didn't want the Great and Clean one going in there as well. So I gave him the steam tank, which was never going to kill over like 4 rounds of combat.
No.
So I wasn't fussed about that. Rob had a bit of bad luck trying to stop cleansing flares, I'll be honest.
Yeah, he was lamenting about that at lunchtime.
Yeah. I think out of five cleansing flares, I think it went off 3 times. Which, it's a bit off, but it is a 5.
He's only got 4 dispelled asses, has he?
He did by this point because the Pegasus Captain man had gone in and killed his herald. The shooting had dispatched the horrors pretty rapidly. In fact, to be fair, shooting and magic had dispatched the horrors horribly in the first turn. Turn, one of them weren't a wizard anymore. 3 units of crossbowmen and 3 burning gazers. I think only 1 went through though.
Yep.
They weren't a wizard anymore. So the herald jumped ship. They got shot up a bit, got rid of the rank, and the Pegasus captain went in. Killed them, killed the harpies that he'd put in as well. In fairness, Rob had 1 ward save to make, and I'd have been double one him.
Yeah.
But
he failed.
Yeah, he failed it.
Yeah.
So yeah. And in the end, what was that in the end? It was a 16-4 with a little bit of luck, and the Pegasus captain stealing Spirit, which was nice.
Really?
Yeah. Straight in.
I'll have that. I'll have that, and then killed the wizard as well.
He also stole Flickering Fire off one of the horrors, which was interesting. First turn, shot 1, stole a spell off the other.
Nice.
And then also as well, in fact, no, that doesn't matter. No, we'll save that one.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, well, while you was playing Rob, I was playing Mark Wildman again.
Wait. Destroy Scroll worked.
Destroy Scroll work. This is a running theme, isn't it? It's starting to get a bit better now.
Twice.
Really. Look, twice in a row.
That's a cross, dude.
That's a cross, is it? It looks... Oh, Jesus.
We're 2 from 4 for the weekend.
What's the matter with you?
What?
Strangest cross I've ever seen.
It's a cross.
Okay.
Look, leave me be.
It looks exactly like your tick.
No, it looks completely
Anyway, while you was playing... Well, I was playing Mark Wildman with Empire this time instead of his Beasts, which I was quite disappointed about. I thought Beasts would be loads better now I've got a dragon. But no, he had his Empire, and I was using my Dark Elves dragon and all the normal stuff. And we deployed, and I had my dragons behind hill, obviously. And the way he deployed his cannons to see most of the table, I thought I could fly out 20 inches, be behind a building against 1 cannon. So I have to take 1 cannon to the face and then charge the other cannon. So I sort of spoke to some of the guys, asking what they thought. Asked Marcus what he thought because he's the captain. He was like, yeah, go for it, see what happens. Yeah. Out he goes. Bang, cannon, 4 wounds to the dragon. I'm like, oh, crap, got the steam tank to go now. It's a long way away. I think he had a maximum guess of 18 and need to roll big. Stopped in front of the dragon, like right in front of the dragon. Misfired as well to stick in the ground there. So it's like, oh, okay, in we go, through the cannon, out the back. Didn't overrun very far, but it's fine because the second cannon had died by then. Harpies are into it. Well, I say died. Should be dead because the harpies are into it, but and they did. They did the trick.
Normally don't.
9 harpies against one cannon.
9 harpies, yeah.
Yeah, sorted that out. And then Outriders open fire, does another wound to the dragon and the rider, which is about right, I think. And then the dragon flies away, and just that's it. Ben wins because the dragon's safe then. He's killed both the cannons. Most of the shooting's gone down by now. All they've got to worry about is the steam tank, which is off on one flank, which I thought was probably deployed in the wrong place. Assassin had got into a building in the middle of the board, which could shoot everything with his rendered stars, and he got the Archlector. In fact, I shot at it and did one wound to the machine, one wound to the rider. He passed his ward save on the altar, failed it on the rider. So it's right, fair enough. Watch this bolt throw shoot. Bugger him. Shoot the Archlector. Thwag! Dead. Yeah, and then Archlector went down, hit the rider on a 6, failed his ward save and all that. 2 wounds, dead. And then the Render Stars cleaned the machine up next turn. Yeah. 3 Dark Riders went through the back of his swordsman unit, which I thought was quite lucky, but my dragon was in the flank next turn, even if he'd have won. So I went in, he held, I broke him in the second round, but the dragon was there ready to go, even if in the flank, even if he hadn't, so that didn't really matter much. And yeah, it was 20-0 in the end, so it was a bit rough on Mark, unfortunately. And then we had some lunch, Cajun chicken. So if you ever at Warhammer World, get the Cajun chicken because it's beautiful. And then I played. Who did I play?
Your mum.
Might have been. I can't remember.
Dave Grant.
Yes, that was it. Dave Grant, good boy. My mind was blank then. I've not got my notes. I thought I won't need them. I couldn't remember everything.
You shout at me when I don't bring notes.
Because you can't remember anything.
That's true.
So yeah, Dave Grant. So we had a bit of ETC, 8 versus 8 pair off, and I ended up against the Wood Elves. Quite worried about that. I thought he's just going to hide in the woods and frustrate me. And as it was, he didn't. He had like 3 inch of bowman. He's standard Wood Elf list, really. Yeah. Altar Lord and all that. And
Arcane Bodkins and all that jazz.
Yeah. And I thought he might put his Waywatchers in this wood, so his first 2 deployments were chariots opposite it. And he put the Waywatchers behind the wood in the end because my shades went in it. So chariots eventually got over there. He charged 5 Wild Riders, not 5, 3 Wild Riders into the front of a chariot, and then moonstoned his War Dancers into that wood. And then the Wild Riders ran from the chariot, broke them in combat, and pursued straight into the War Dancers, which had just moonstoned into the wood. So the chariot crew all attacked the wizard.
Why would you do that?
Don't know.
Answers on a postcard, boys and girls.
Don't know. And then, the War Dancers, the War Dancer Noble in the unit killed the chariot in the end. Like 5 strength 4 attacks, chopped it up.
So what?
Yeah, I'd got the wizard, I'd got off points on the War Dancers, and then on the left flank, basically the dragon ran around and killed all the shooting without the Waywatchers over there, because one unit 10 Waywatchers it was. Ooh. Without them over near the rest of his archers, the dragon could just fly around them all and do what he liked. So yeah, it's again 20-0. So I was on 40 points from 2 games on that day. So I was quite happy with myself.
Nice.
And then it was a bit of a mad scramble to get out, wasn't it? Because we had Aunt Spear's wedding on that evening. So yeah, how did you go on second game?
I played Bobo.
Another demon army.
Yeah, another demon army. This was the Bloodthirster Siren Song. 2 horrors, demonettes, Tizincharo BSB, 3 fiends, 2 furies, and that was about it. Bloodthirster. Did I mention the Bloodthirster?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bloodthirster. Lucky fucking Bloodthirster.
What do you do then? Just leave everything at the back and run the thirst.
Personally, I think I chose the wrong side to start with. I think if I'd have put him on the other side, he'd have struggled to come out as much as he did. 2 flesh hands he had as well. A 6 and a 5. He'd have struggled to come out as much. And we spoke about this after the game. I also think that maybe putting the altar and the steam tank on the far one side was a mistake. If I'd have put the steam tank on the left, on the edge of the table next to a wood, and then put the altar on the other side of the wood, created a bit of a no-fly zone for the Bloodthirster. Yeah,
you'd be able to move forward and block the back of the wood off.
That's right, yeah. So he wouldn't have been able to fly out. learning points and all that, isn't it? Again, he left the Bloodthirster out for 2 cannons, which I was very, very surprised at.
Yeah, we're only having 5 wounds.
Yeah. Bit annoyed, really. I won the roll for first turn. First cannon shot the Bloodthirster, misfire. Second cannon shot the Bloodthirster, misfire, blew up.
Oh, nice.
It's like, this is going to be really difficult now. And the cannon that blew up was, annoyingly, the one in the bottom corner on a hill that could see the whole battlefield. There was nowhere that the Bloodthirster could hide other than his own deployment zone
Yeah.
that this cannon couldn't see, and that was the one that blew up.
I love it when I play Empire and the cannons blow up. It's like it's a free pass.
Oh,
It's just like, woohoo!
yeah, especially
Let's go, boys.
especially turn one. Turn one. So everything else sort of shuffled a bit. Pegasus guy went straight forward, stole a spell. No messing. 20 inches straight forward towards the horrors near the building. Spell. Ta.
Nice. I like that.
Cast it back at the Furies. That'll teach you. Been 2 strength 2. So that was annoying. The Bloodthirster then took just multiple lots of crossbows, burning gazers.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And bits and bobs. And to be honest with you, it took 2 wounds and it probably should have died. The amount of armor saves he had to take. And passed them all.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It took 2 wounds. I'm sure it took 2 wounds from a burning gaze. Bobo seems to think not.
No.
But I don't know.
Well, when I was talking to you two and you were both arguing about this, Bobo was like, it flew there, it did this, then it took 2 wounds. And you were just like, So I'm inclined to think he's right because he sort of knew what he was saying, and
maybe.
you were scratching your head and scratching your ass.
Maybe.
You really didn't know.
You know what they say, lie with confidence.
Yeah, that's it.
But anyway, so yeah, it made an awful lot of armor saves and made even more ward saves. Frustrating. But so all I got was a unit and a half of flesh hounds, basically, and half a unit of furies.
Not a lot then.
Not a lot at all. Casket Sorcery was full.
Was it?
It had 2 flickering fires. It had Uranus Thunderbolt and had Portent of Far.
Nice.
So yeah, he done all right.
Yeah, good stuff.
And it was a 14-6 loss in the end.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah, oh dear, but again, know what I did wrong. And I also think as well that if the Bloodthirster had got half pointed earlier, it'd have flown away.
Yeah, more than likely.
Do you know what I mean?
And then you'd have been up by half points and
yeah,
you'd have been winning. So did you learn out from your weekend of 4 games of Warhammer?
Yeah, I think you use the Archlector a bit differently in some matchups.
Are you just using him like a chariot at the minute, or?
It's kind of doing a bit of everything.
Yeah.
First couple of turns, just a bit of magic and things like rerolls on the Hoglins. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then after that, it goes off smashing things.
Yeah, yeah.
One thing in the game as well, the steam tank for 3 turns, the last 3 turns went for 5 points, rolled 6 every time.
Yeah, I'm surprised you do that because it always seems to roll a 6.
The problem was I knew I was up against it. I needed to get across and into the game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But 12 inches is better than none.
Yeah, it is absolutely. But it happens once. You're like, oh, fucking hell, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Won't happen again.
Need to get into this. Right, 5 points. Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
So that'd have got me. Unit Demonettes, a banner, and a slanner. Maybe not the slanner shell. The slanner shell would have done one, but
I think you need to pretend that your steam tank isn't allowed to drive further than a dice roller would require. If you know what I mean. And then you'll never stall it.
Yes, you're right.
Just live with the fact that that's that.
Yeah,
Do it.
but again, like I said, the only reason I did it was I knew I was chasing the game.
But even so, if you're chasing the game and it doesn't move, you're chasing it even more.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're chasing the game and you move a bit slower, it's still something.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I think anyway. But saying that, when I use Empire, I'm sure I'll go 15 inches. Go,
mate. It's when
bumsy.
Bumsy. It's when you pick up the 6 dice for your impact hits and roll 6 5s and 6s, and your opponent goes, "Oh crap, 35? No, 18.
Yeah, one Neil Peckett.
You're still fucked, but it's not 35."
Okay, so anything else?
Just painting.
More Empire?
Well, yeah, Empire. Finished my flagellants off finally. They've been sat unfinished for a very long. Well, 4 of them have been sat unfinished for a very long time. Also painted my Arch Lector. Figured I wanted to do something nice.
Yeah.
So
He's quite nice. I like him.
The
You
bulk
painted
of
him or his wagon as well?
No, just him, not his wagon. The wagon's a bit scary.
Yeah, a lot on it.
Yeah, yeah. He's okay. Well, he's pretty good. His face, I took a lot of time on the face, a lot of glazing and
pleased with it?
highlighting. Yeah, I am.
We'll
Actually.
get some photos and put them on the
Probably
Snake House section.
I had to sort of tell myself to stop at one point. Just stop.
Behave yourself. You've done enough.
There's just so many glazes. No more. Stop.
Excellent. Okay, well, I think we're going to go for a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about Orcs and Goblins. Do you play 40k? Do you enjoy the dynamic movement and the line of sight flexibility that the game has to offer? Is it the guns and tanks and alien monsters that do it for you? What you need is Warhammer Army's Lizardmen. This army packs enough firepower to decimate your average Land Raider in no time at all. They move and shoot in all directions, and every model is an all-adventure hero. They can even bomb the shit at UK and get 10% off a Lizardman army. You also get free shipping to anywhere in the UK. Odd Games also stock a wide range of wargaming products, so be sure to check them out. www.oddgames.co.uk. Okay, so we're back from the break, and we've got our Orc and Goblin army book review. Probably a bit late, months and years after it was released. But
Well, I've just got it in front of me now. The book was released on the 7th of October 2006.
why did you write in your book? Is that not when you bought it?
No, it's when it was released.
You write in the top of your book when it's released?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a bit special like that. So,
Well, it makes a good 10 seconds of listening when we do a podcast 3 years down the line.
that's it. You can see the future. You've got to flash forward. So, with there's a splash release, Trolls and Boars. So we thought a bit of new interest in the Orcs and Goblins. We'll just show about it. So we've got on with us an Orc and Goblin player from the other side of the world. So Mr. Andrew Galea, the guy who runs Rankings HQ. Yeah, he's got up nice and early to come and chat to us. So say hello.
Hello guys, how are you? All good.
Good stuff. So Orcs and Goblins. You've played them for a while, have you, Andrew?
Yeah, I have. I actually, you asked me to have a chat about them on this show, I went through my book and I actually have got the last three books before this one in my library.
It's quite impressive. I don't think I've got.
Yeah.
I don't think I've even got the old one. I've just got the current one.
I've got them, but they're in the loft somewhere.
Yeah, buried somewhere.
I like
It
how
made me
Andrew says he's
sad
got a
because-
library.
Sorry, what
Yeah,
was that?
It made me sad because every edition of the book they've actually got weaker.
All right. Okay, so we'll start off with basically at the start. So Orcs and Goblins by Matt Ward. So what did he learn from doing this? And then it suddenly something snapped inside, and he thought, "I'm going to unleash demons on the world."
I don't know, because to be honest with you, the Orcs and Goblins are quite a nice book. Quite characterful, fairly balanced.
Well, when they first came out, you were smashing people with yours, weren't you?
Yeah, to a certain extent. But again, I think that was
New book.
lots of practice, knowing what to do, and I think catching people on the hop, really. Even though it wasn't necessarily a new book, it was a very less popular book, shall we say?
Yeah.
So people, hadn't come across the sort of combos and stuff.
No.
But
how about
Yeah,
you,
I
Andrew?
maintained-
Did you play
Yeah,
them when they first came out, or did you pick them up later on, or what?
No, straight away. I mean, to be honest, I've said it for a long time. Of all this current round of books, I think Orcs and Goblins is perhaps the best, well, the most balanced and the best one written. It's sort of like its problems are it's not over the top.
Yeah.
But I played it when it first came out, and I wrote a lot of, at that time I was writing a lot of stuff just about how I was going, and I actually remember struggling when I used the same list from my previous edition, which a lot of people make that mistake, I guess. But then over time, like Ben said, I think if you played it a lot and really got to know how to use it and cater for its weaknesses, I went quite well for a while as well. Been saying that in the current meta, a few books came out in a row that just smashed it to pieces. So
Vampires.
since then it's
Yeah, basically, yeah. From the
Vampires
vampires
came out.
coming out, vampires, demons. It sort of went downhill from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, overview of the Orc and Goblin army. What do you expect from the army when you go to Orcs and Goblins? What if someone says to you, "I've got an Orc and Goblin army"? What do you think of?
Men,
Just loads of men or
loads
goblins?
of orcs. Do you know what I mean? It is. It's essentially a horde army, isn't it?
Do you think?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But it's never the horde that wins the day, is it? It's the toys.
Yeah, but without the horde element there, I don't. It's like when you were talking about taking it to Tempest, and you were reading off all the stuff you'd got. It's like, well, where are your boys? I've not got any. Yeah.
No, got 40 goblins.
Yeah.
See, I don't see it as that. When I think of Orcs and Goblins, I think of Doom Divers and Chariots and Squigs and Fanatics and Wyverns and Magic. The rank and file are just sort of not really considered. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but there's still quite a lot of them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you know what I mean?
What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I think I took like when the book came out and you had the 5 point orc boys, and for 6 points you give them a shield. I remember a lot of my armies I went well with had big blocks of troops, 25-man orc units, but in the current, I think that's why it struggles now, because the infantry just doesn't stack up. It's just not, and it's hard to win with. But I thought that for a long time and agreed that I had, the toys were good. But fairly recently, well, in this year, a local guy called Steve Gibbs, been having a fair bit of success under the ETC rules, going back to having just a lot of crap on the table.
Yeah.
That's everywhere. There's stuff, and you just can't get hard points out of it. You can't maneuver your troops around him, and he's been going really well. I've been trying it as well, and it actually has been going really well.
Yeah, but then bear in mind that under the ETC rules, I mean, I used to use units of 24 boys with full command, which are 174 points. Under the ETC, they're worth 130 if you kill
20%
them.
less, yeah.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
it's probably not a good. I think under an even game, I don't know how they'll go at all under the current environment. They still seem to struggle.
I mean, like I say again, blocks of boys, they're not expensive. Like I say, 170 odd points with full command and toughness 4. It's not awful.
Yeah. But
Then-
they're so big and unwieldy on the battlefield
Yeah.
that you don't get the best from them, do you?
The Dark Elves dance and shoot around them. The undead just grind them. The demons just kick their faces in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough, but then people play them because people
Well,
tend to love them.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
can see why.
Absolutely. It's just full of character and it's fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's the sort of game we were brought up on. Well,
they're a really fun army to play. Like I get them out all the time. No matter what I'm playing, I always roll them out just to refresh the batteries.
Yeah.
I find them really good to play.
good fun.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's have a quick look at the actual army itself. So going through the army book, basically, obviously the backbone of the army, as you two just said, is boys, but they come in all different shapes and sizes, don't they? So if you want a generic orc, you can just get an orc boy. How many points?
What, an orc war boss?
No. Start from the troops.
We're not going to start.
So
on the
you
tanks.
said an orc boy is 5 points,
Yeah, 5
and then they
points.
come in a few different varieties.
Yeah.
You can give them
You
hand
can give him a
weapons,
shield, you can give him additional choppers, give him a spear if you want. You upgrade him to big uns for 4 points, which is somewhat bonkers if you ask me. So a big un with
Yeah,
a
that's-
shield is 10 points a man.
The big un rule was just it used to be 2 points in the old edition when it went to 4, but then when you look at a bloodletter, what's a bloodletter cost? 12.
12,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you've got an orc boy. Big un is 14 points without any. 9 points without any armor and 10 points of a shield.
Yeah.
And he just can't compare. I mean, he's just still leadership 7. Yeah, I think the big un, they just were too expensive in this book.
Oh, yeah. 4 points a man for a basic grunt is just bonkers.
So, what about going with the savage orcs or the black orcs or stuff like that instead of just a standard boy? Then,
Well, because Savage Orcs are special to start with.
well, it's an
No,
orc.
they're not.
It's the savage
No,
orcs.
sorry,
aren't.
not
savage
Savage Orcs,
orcs.
sorry,
are
Black
called
Orcs.
Black
Black
orcs
Orcs, I
special.
know.
Yeah.
So, do we think the savage orcs are worth it? Are they Are they a good price for what you get for them? The
I'll-
frenzy make up for a lot.
Be honest, never used them.
Really?
Never used them. Purely
So
for
I
the
have
fact-
used them.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I've used them when the vampires and demons and the fear was rife. I actually did use them a couple of ways. One was I used them as a good bunker, and I still do. If you surround them by night goblins and fanatics, and they're in the middle of your army and they're hard to get to, they're not a bad little bunker because they're never going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And the other thing I used them for, tend to use them even now. 13 of them, 7 wide, 6 in the second rank, with an extra chopper.
Yeah.
And I know they're pretty wide, but you can use them fairly liberally. They're not very expensive, and then if they hit, you end up getting, well, you get 18 strength 4 hits and 4 strength 5 hits from the champion. So they're actually not that bad when they hit on the first turn if you get them. And I find I've used them that way a fair bit as well. And I don't think they're that bad. They can work.
Yeah, because you only really need the front rank getting into combat anyway, so they could take some pain.
Oh yeah.
Still have 7 men getting there and doing a bit of damage.
So I've tried that. It hasn't been too bad. And the other one, the Orc Arrow Boys, they were a point less from the last edition and actually got light armor free compared to the last edition. So for 6 points, you get a guy with a bow, and he's a full orc. And I've used them a bit as well. Have you used them before, Ben?
No.
No, the thing with Ben is he painted his army and then just stuck with what he got painted, wasn't it?
No, I didn't. I sort of looked at it and just no, just too wide. Ballistic skill 3, just can't see.
Yeah, but the 6 points. Look at how much your Empire ones are they? 8 points each for your crossbowmen.
They've got a crossbow
Yeah, I suppose
that shoots
that's one way.
30 at
Yeah,
strength 4,
and it's 4 inches shorter on its.
and they
when
don't
it's lines up.
animosity.
Yeah,
I've never ever seen the use for Orc Arrow Boys ever.
I quite like the idea of the Savage Orc Boys. Someone said the Arrow Boys.
I was at the South Coast GT and I was walking down the tables. I saw this guy playing Orcs. He got all the old school Savage Orc models. He got 3 units of Savage Orc Arrow Boys, and I was like, "What you got Arrow Boys for?" He says, "Oh no, they're not Arrow Boys. They're Savage Orc Arrow Boys." Can you do that? Yeah. Really? Yeah.
You're proper confused,
Like,
aren't you?
Can I have a look at your book? Because I kind of don't believe you.
Yeah.
I was absolutely baffled that A, you could take them, and B, that he did.
Yeah, that's the second one. Why would you? But yeah, it's a unit of bowmen at the back of the board. They shouldn't have to frenzy charge or anything because there's nothing near them. You know, all the fast stuff that would normally come in and kill them. They've got loads of attacks back with a chopper, and you can't shoot them away because they're immune. They're frenzied, so they're immune to sight. I like that.
Maybe there's method
See,
in
like
the madness.
in the standard Orc Arrow Boys is 60 points. You get 10 of them. So they can take a table quarter. They're not the light stuff that normally gets them. They can protect your war machines a bit sometimes. They can do a bit of shooting against light cav. I don't know. I find for 60 points, I'll chuck a unit in almost all the time just to have. They sit at the back and they do nothing. But
I'd rather have
tend to
another
do
unit
something.
of spiders, I think.
Another unit of spiders for the same
Yeah.
points. I don't know. I like the idea of that unit of boys. I'll tell you what. There was a guy who ran him at the GT a few years ago, wasn't he? A guy from Switzerland, I think he was, and he had a beautiful Orc and Goblin army. Fabio, I think his name was, and he had a unit of Arrow Boys, and they looked. That was the best. My favourite unit in the army is Arrow Boys, where they look brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Well, the models they do direct only models.
Yeah,
the
and they're
models
really big,
look-
aren't
yeah, Yeah, they're big and chunky.
Yeah, the metal ones are good. I mean, the interesting with the fast cav bench, I've always used Wolf Riders and Spider Riders and tried to. I find there's a lot of the Dark Elves and the High Elves, and so many people I find them really weak. They run a lot. I still do use them, but they're just because of 71 points, you get 5 of them, don't you?
Yeah.
Or 66 points. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just sometimes I do chuck in the Arrow Boys, but that's how I with the Black Hawks. They're the same thing. I've used them as a bunker before. They do get fairly expensive, but I like running them the same. I do them 7 wide, 6 behind, and I give them the wire banner.
Yeah.
So they can charge up to 20 inches. I give them, so they're armed to the teeth, so you can choose whatever weapon you want to use, which invariably is the extra chopper to get, because you get all your strength 5 hits on the first turn.
Yeah, it makes a mess, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I've used them fairly successfully as well. But the thing is, if you want to run them that way, they're not good as a bunker because your mages will get in combat too much.
So you used yours differently, didn't you? You used yours in a big unit.
Yeah, I had 17 with the Bumsex banner.
The bum sex banner.
Yeah,
The banner of buggery.
Banner of butchery. Yeah. and that puts a hole in the world. That
Yeah,
does.
17 when you had a character on a wolf in there,
Yeah.
and then you had a wizard in there as well. It's all of a sudden it's your full rank
Yeah.
bonus, and yeah, they are good, but one terror test. But you've got to live with that with Orcs and Goblins,
Yeah.
haven't you?
Welcome to the
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
the world of the Orcs and Goblins.
Yeah.
So I think Black Orcs there should be 0 to 1. I reckon. If I've not played Orcs and Goblins, sorry, a 1+ choice. Should I say? I've not played
okay,
Orcs and
yeah, yeah,
Goblins, but looking at lists of people who played against me, looking at your list,
Oh
Ben,
yeah.
I can't see leaving home without them. Simply because of the fact
Yeah.
that they always move on the turn you call your war. Now a lot of people say they're not worth the points. So what do you guys think to that?
At the end of the day, your Orc army pretty much. It's got a bit of shooting. The magic is hit and miss. It essentially fights, and they're pretty much the best thing in there.
The best fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you have them?
Okay, fair enough.
I've always used. I use them more often than I don't. There are times where I compare a big unit, compare it to what you can get for the points out of the same list.
Yeah.
And I go, oh man, that swaps. Plus, it takes a special slot, so sometimes I'm a bit like, because all the good stuff's really in the specials.
The special
but
slots are the premium, aren't they?
They are in this book. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone has this gripe, but in this book, I find this all the war machines and the cavalry, the Black Orcs, and I'm thinking, well, but anyway, yeah, I and all the chariots, and I do sometimes we squeeze them out, but I do agree they are good.
I've just counted. There's 9 special choices.
Yeah, that's a fair bit, isn't it?
That's a lot.
And the chariots aren't 2 for 1. The goblin ones anymore. They take a full slot. So
Yeah, the only 2 for 1s are the spear chuckers.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough. So that's the orcs sort of covered. So what about goblins? I mean, every orc and goblin list I see has always got night goblins in. I don't think I've ever seen just goblins, common goblins or whatever. Is it forest goblins anymore? Yeah.
No, there's no forest goblins
Just
other
on the
than the
spiders.
spider riders.
So they're either on wolves or spiders or the night goblins. I never see just normal goblins.
No.
Why is that?
Because you can't have fanatics, I think.
Is that what it comes down to?
Pretty much. Well, it has done for me. I mean, you get an extra pip of leadership with a goblin, but you get an extra initiative with a night goblin. You know what I mean?
They're the same points. They're 3 points a
3
model.
points
Was
a
that a
model,
reason?
yeah.
Because that's a lot of points for a goblin, really, isn't it?
They used to be 2. They went up
Yeah.
3 in this book. And the thing that I find with the night goblins, they come with shields, right? So you get a 5+ saver hand anyway.
Yeah.
Where the normal goblins come with light armor. So you then need to give them shields
Which makes them
to get
4
that
points.
bonus. And their 4 points are too expensive because they've got an Orcs 5, and you can't get nets, you can't get fanatics. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. I think that's why you don't see them. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense that they've not got shields standard. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, again, night goblins with nets and fanatics, and just no reason not to.
Do you both take nets all the time? Do you think that's a good choice, or does it make them too expensive?
It does make them a bit pricey because it's 35 points. But then I tend not to overload with fanatics either.
No, you only normally use 1 or 2, don't
Yeah.
you?
I'm the same. I normally run units of 20, 21 with 1 fanatic, and that's it basically.
Yeah.
And then I would sometimes run a unit of 30 night goblins with nets, the full command, and use that to try to support the other combat units, because you get nets in the combat that affects everybody, and
Yeah.
and they're also not a bad little unit, because if you put a character like I've run a Black Hawk sometimes in that unit with nets, and it makes it pretty good. I mean, with these stats, you can get like a 1+ Black Hawk build with toughness 5 and a 5-up ward or whatever, and if they lost a strength as well, it actually makes him quite effective little unit.
I like getting them in there and supporting things like the Black Hawks or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, to be
Exactly.
honest with you as well, even on their own, people massively. I've had people just throw flesh hands in them, just assuming they're going to run straight
Yeah.
through you, and
then you go, I'm going to net you.
I'm going to net you, and they go, "Oh, what does that do?" Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're only strength 4, and I get a save now.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the strength takes it's one less chance of wounding you. Takes 1 less off your armor.
Yeah.
Like it does so many. It affects so many dice rolls, and in
Oh,
the
it's
end, it makes a
massive.
massive difference.
Yeah, massive
Yeah.
difference.
Until you
Yeah.
net yourself.
Yeah, then you're just back to being fucked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Okay, so what about the fast cav? The spiders or the wolves? Is there a preference there, or is it just one of each?
one of each, if not two of each, for me,
Yeah.
Yeah,
depending
I've
on
got.
points.
I usually take. Normally, I have two wolves and one spider, just because I like the 18 movement and
Yeah,
the spiders. Sometimes can't. There's not always forest around and stuff, but I always have. Yeah, I always split between them. If I can only have two, I'll have one of each.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Just a bit of a mix then. And
Yeah,
what about
they're
snot?
good. They're good for. Sorry.
Sorry, go on now. Carry on.
Yeah, no, they're good for the other thing. I mean, they're good for getting war machines and stuff, but they're great for diverting, which is often important because most
Yeah.
of the stuff we have can get smashed by a lot of things. So
Yeah.
they're quite good units.
I think you do need some.
Oh,
You
without a doubt.
you know what I mean? Never leave home without any.
No, no. Do you bother with command on them guns?
Now, the only time I normally do give them musos, to be
Yeah,
honest. That's the only thing I've ever done because just leadership 7 helps a lot, I guess. And
yeah. Just
I
keeps
don't
them
normally
around.
I normally give my wolf boys. I have in the past given them spears. I think that if you give the wolf boys spears and both musos, they're all the same points. I think it's 71 each for
Yes,
5. Yeah, that's how I normally run.
yeah. That's what I do as well. Give them spears.
Yeah,
I've given them bows a few times, but not sure on that.
I was gonna ask you that. Yeah, I've never really done that. So
The thing I was doing it for a while, and I just found like that he's never hitting it. You're always hitting on fives and sixes, and it's just
Five
yeah,
shots.
and it's only
yeah,
16 each range, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't use that much.
Okay, so what about snotlings? Because in the old book, in the last edition, you used to see them all the time. It was
Yeah.
like everyone ran lots of snotlings, and then you don't in this, which kind of amazes me. I don't know if it's because people haven't cottoned on to the fact that how abusive they can be,
Um,
or what. I mean, they don't suffer from animosity, so you can just stick all your characters in there, and make them immune to sight. Well, then
yeah.
people don't take them. And
Um,
then they moan because they've struggled with animosity. On the turn, they need the characters to do stuff. And I don't know. Is that just me not playing with them and not knowing?
I think again, they're not unbreakable anymore. Do you
No,
know
they're
what I
not.
mean?
They're immune to
They're
psych
immune
and
to psych
stubborn on a leadership
and
4.
stubborn on 4. So if anything goes into them, you're breaking.
Yeah.
Also, as well, the 20 points of base. So you'd need what? You need 100 points worth to make you safe from shooting, wouldn't you?
Yeah, from a cannon or something.
You know, so no, I've never sort of. But then I've not really needed places for characters to hide in most of my builds.
No, fair enough.
I've never really been much of a wizard man.
No.
Tried the level 4 a few times, but miscast is just ridiculous. So it's normally a scroll caddy which can hide quite comfortably,
Yeah.
and the rest tend to want to get in a fight.
Yeah.
So not
I
sure.
normally run at least 2, normally 3 units of 2,
Really?
and yeah, I put them next to my units. So mainly they can either be diverters. They actually 2 of them take ranks off as well.
Yeah.
So I've sort of, and they're just nuisance value. I put them around, and I don't know. I've always found them to be okay. I can shoot fanatics. You know that trick where you have the fanatic unit behind it, so
Yeah,
they
yeah.
charge. You can make them land on the fanatic.
Yeah.
I'm just they won't panic once the fanatic goes through them.
People
I don't
kind of
know.
get
I don't.
upset by that, though, don't they?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
but I
but
don't know. Like it's clear.
yeah, it's not abusive or anything. It's clear what you can do
No.
with it, and
It's a bit abusive.
I love.
It does piss people off.
I
but
do like. I've seen Ben doing it a lot to people. Like we were playing at a tournament. He's on the next table to me, and his opponent's got the Orc and Goblin book in his hand. Because Ben's fed up of showing people, he just goes, "Here, there's the book. Look yourself." And
Work it out.
and what he's done is some units come forward. Fanatics have been triggered, and instead of throwing it at the unit, Ben's thrown it in
Yeah.
front of the unit that's getting charged. So when
Yeah.
when they end up on the fanatic, they take 2d6, and the opponent goes nutty about it.
Yeah.
I don't see a. I don't know. Understand what that. I mean, I've seen a guy. I've used it before. I mean, I don't. When I get a bit, I want to have a good game and just have fun. I do sometimes put trolls and sit them in front of the unit,
Yeah.
and they did the same thing. But the fatty goes through them. They get a regen against it, hardly get any wounds, and then the opponent gets absolutely smashed. I mean, I don't think that's I don't know why that's anyway.
I
I know people
think
complain, but
I think
yeah.
again it comes from people not seeing it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Not seeing it done, not having had it done to them before, and then when you do it,
Getting caught out.
they get caught out and feel
Yeah.
cheated, almost. Not cheated, but do you know what I mean? They feel a bit,
A bit foolish.
yeah. While you're sat there chuckling away,
Yeah.
as their flesh
Yeah,
hounds pop on your bloody night goblins.
I've done it against like Chaos Knights, so they'll come up to my line. I'll chuck my snotlings up, and I'll go, not unbreakable, no, okay. So they charge in, then 3 fanatics get through my snotlings and wipe out the knights.
Oh,
That's always fun. Anyway, it's very characterful too. I mean, they're goblins, you know.
oh, gotcha.
Anyway.
Kill them all.
Okay, so you always have plenty of goblins in your armies then, of some description. They always find the way in, don't they?
Oh yeah, I've
So-
always got unit night goblins.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I'm the
Um,
same. They're good.
So, what about special choices? We already mentioned it's a bit of a premium. Now, yeah, I'm like say 9, and then you look at them, you think, oh, got to have squig hoppers, they're brilliant. But you've got to have your war machines, they're brilliant. Oh, but you need chariots, they're brilliant. Oh, but we've already said you've got to have one unit of Black Hawks at least. And what if you want to do a Savage Orc? Oh, I mean, you need your Boar Boys, and really, they're all good, aren't they? So
Yes.
what the hell do you do? Does it depend on your character build?
Stick
Do you
a pin in a book.
do you decide on your characters first, then choose your special slots to suit, or do you decide on? I don't know. How do you guys approach it?
Well, when I first started playing them, it was a bit of a just use what you fancy, really. Experiment a bit with it. Used the Boar Boys for a long time as a lord delivery system. Then moved on to the Wyvern, so that freed up one slot. Squig Hoppers have always been in there because
They just win.
it's it's not that. It's something that's manoeuvrable. It can go sideways. It can go backwards.
And it's immune psychology.
And immune
and
psychology
it's really
helps.
hard hitting.
Yeah, but more than anything, it's the movement.
Yeah.
Being able to flush something out of a wood or out of difficult ground, which ordinarily you can't do with nothing in the army, other than maybe.
I think that's the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you play like Way Watchers or a mage sits in the forest, you
Yeah.
basically can't get him.
No,
You just can't get
the
him.
only thing
So-
you've got maybe is Spider Riders, but they get beaten up by oak, so that doesn't do anything.
Yeah. I find that they're worth just for that, just to flush things out
Yeah.
that are annoying.
Yeah, that's the only reason that they've been in and stayed in my list. I mean, they were in as a 7 to start with, but now they're a bit bigger, just
Yeah,
to make sure
you-
they smash things when
Go
they get
use
there.
your 10s now, didn't you?
Yeah, 10 of them. Again, Black Orcs always been in, love them, and then it sort of flips around really from lots of war machines to lots of chariots. Never used a
Yeah.
squig herd. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I've used a squid herd a bit. I normally would just pick a flank and just run them forward towards something I want to kill,
Yeah,
and they have to deal with it. And shooting it, they can shoot the crap at it, but they're not shooting everything else. I mean, I don't know. I have run them before. They've worked a bit. The thing that I've done, I agree with you. I normally put as many war machines and chariots that I can fit. But I'm normally the Black Hawks and Squig Hoppers usually get to go somewhere.
yeah,
But I've been running 5 naked Savage Orc Boar Boys for 105 points.
okay,
And you can give them shields. I think it makes them 115.
yeah,
And then you get 10 strength 5 attacks on the charge and 10 strength 4 attacks on the charge. You get 20 attacks. They're only 15 points. And people can't ignore them. I find them to work pretty good because if they hit something, they're going to hurt it.
oh, definitely, especially with the like I say with the Tuskors. It's
Yeah, that's right.
on the ball. It's
So they're immune to psych. They charge 14 inches. They hit with 20 hits, 20 attacks, 10 of them at strength 5. I think, well, I find they've worked before in the past because even if they shoot them and you've got 3 left, they still take the ranks off. And I don't know. Yeah, they can assassinate characters sometimes if you. I find it to be not too because you can load up. Well, if you put 3 of them on a character, if he's on a horse or something, you can load up. A fair amount of what's that? 6 strength 5 and strict strength 4 attacks on them.
So when I used my Tomb King army at the GT, I had to use that silly Tomb King list. I played against the Savage Orc army. I had 2 big units of Savage Orcs, and the Savage Orc guy hammered me worse than any of the 3 demon players did. I got obliterated. It was absolutely horrible because he had these Savage Orc Boar Boys which just ran straight at home with infantry blocks. And I couldn't get out of the way, couldn't do anything about it. And like you say, 20 attacks, and I think one of the units had the Banner of Butchery in there as well,
Oh.
and it was just horrendous. And I went to take him off before he rolled any dice, and he's like, "What, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And he picks up his dice for his riders and kills like 8, and he was like, "All right, okay, you might be right."
Just
I
a
mean,
little bit.
before the Crown of Commandment come out with the vampires, they'd hit a skelly block or the weapon skill 2 guys, and they'd just go ballistic. I mean, these days they're all you don't fight skellies unless they're weapon skill 6 or 7, unfortunately. But
No.
that was that was always a good trick. I find they're not too bad, but once again they take a special slot, so it's always like, well, it's hard to put them in, but I do like using them.
I think another reason is Savage Orcs as well. I always had this idea of doing a Savage Orc army.
So you didn't want any for your
So I
normal
sort
list.
of like veered away from them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm weird
So-
like that.
You said about the Helm of Command with the Savage Orcs. So would that not mean you just upgrade them to Boar Boys? Because then you weapon skill 4 and you hit on 4s.
Well, no, because that's 8 points a man.
No, it's ball boys aren't for you. Big guns, you mean? Is that what you're saying?
Sorry,
Yeah,
big
big
uns,
uns.
big uns, yeah. Sorry, upgrade them to big uns.
The problem there, I find, it's 8 points.
Yeah.
Did you know it's 8 points a model to do that?
Yeah, so it's 150 points a unit instead of 105.
Yeah.
So
So it makes them 29 points, 30 points with spears. They're the most expensive cavalry in the game. And the Savage Orcs are only, well, one of the most. And the Savage Orcs are only 4+ armor save.
yeah.
So they're just the medium cavalry, and they're just so expensive. And they're still leadership. Well, they're immune to psych, I guess, but I don't know. I haven't. Then it becomes a really big investment. I mean, they're 30 points a model. It's 150 points.
No,
I don't know, it doesn't sound that bad.
I've never ran big uns anything.
But then you've both
Yeah.
just said that when your Vampire book came out, it ruined the Orcs. Was that not a...
It's just so expensive.
But they're not going to get shot by a vampire army. You know what I mean? Or is it just
Well-
makes it too much a liability against the other races?
That's one
That's-
thing. Again,
Yeah.
you're not guaranteed to be playing vampires, and it's just too expensive.
Too expensive, okay.
Simply, you know what I mean? I mean, when I was using Ball Boys, I was using 8 or 9 of them as, like I say, pretty much a Lord delivery system.
Yeah.
And you couldn't make them Boar Boys neither. Big uns, sorry.
Well, you could, but again, it's
Too many points, yeah.
70.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can go with
65.
that.
Another
70
thing as
points.
well, the one army we haven't mentioned that absolutely destroys me, but I don't know about you, was when the High Elves came out, right? So basically, outside the chariots, there's nothing in the army that can charge an elite infantry. Like, you just can't charge because they
No.
go. I mean, everything we have is lightly armored, and I've got Savage Orc Boar Boys charging into Swordmasters or any of them really, and you lose so many on the charge that they're just not. That's an army I find I've really seen to struggle when I just can't fight them. So I
No.
tried to always.
The only thing that can
And they
maybe Black Orcs.
With 3 up armor save,
Yeah, but even then,
and toughness 4, isn't it? So,
even then.
plus all your goblins fear them. So I tend to take chariots are good against them because impact hits, but your goblin chariots all fear them on leadership 6. It's I find it a bit of a they're a hassle.
fair enough. So speaking of chariots, goblins and boar chariots, what do you prefer? Is it the extra move of the goblin ones, or do the boar ones a bit more resilient, stand up to a bit more punishment?
I think you've answered your own question there, haven't you?
Is that... Well, I says, is the extra move of the goblin one better than the resilience?
I think they're just different.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
In my experience.
Yeah, I've the thing about the goblin one, I tend to use orcs. My answer, well, I have both. I have 2 of each, right? But if I could take one, I'd probably just take the orc one. The goblin one's only 3 wounds as well,
Yeah.
and a 5 up armor save. It's just so easy to kill, and with the 18-inch charge is good, but I find the orc, and the orc one's good. It's so much harder to kill, and I don't know. I tend to use that one.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think there's a... I'm not sure there's a better one. But I have liked the goblin one from time to time.
Yeah, I mean,
Throwing it forward 18 inches,
in theory, the goblin one's just like, yeah, 18-inch charge, get in there. And then I'm sure when you come to play, and every unit bowman that you try to charge just shoot you down, or every unit fast cab that you try to charge shoots you down.
Yeah.
It's not
Everything.
much fun.
And that chariot fears all 3 elf armies, right? So because it's only unit strength 4. So any like I've done it before. I've lined it up, get to the wood elf line, charge them with chariots, and then leadership 6 to charge unless the general's around.
Yeah.
And then you got to do the standard shoot, and then There, I tend to lean towards Yorks, but I have used both a lot.
I think the Goblin ones lost a lot when they went from 2 for 1.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do like the Goblin one, but again, sometimes when you use it, you think this is a special choice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
This could be a rock clobber.
Yeah. So yeah, that I think that hurt a lot. But yeah, rock lobbers. I like rock lobbers.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the list I wrote for this Tempest Rising tournament, I was thinking taking your Orcs. And my first, literally, I got Army Builder out and went straight to specials, 2 rock clobbers, Doom Diver. Right, what else can we get? I don't know. I like the idea of the rock clobbers.
Yeah.
You normally use the 2 bolt throwers, 1 rock lobber, and a Doom Diver, don't you? In yours?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I agree. I think they're really good, especially with the bully rule is really good in this edition.
Oh yeah, a bully every time, every single time.
Because they don't panic and they've got a little bit of more clout. There's extra crewman. He counts as a crewman.
Yeah.
I find, I always every time take 2 spear chuckers. I don't think I've ever not done that, and I take rock lobbers. I feel 2 of those. I don't know. I think it's a necessity. You've got no shooting in the army, and you want to weaken things before it hits your line.
Do you find the spear chuckers though just miss everything?
Hey, you could an arch selector at the ETC before it moved, didn't you?
That's true.
Yeah.
See, that's true. See, I mean, for 40 points, and you have 2 of them. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. They do. They can miss, but I mean, they scare the big stuff enough to worry about them. And
I think it keeps them a bit honest, doesn't it? But I think they're no elf bolt thrower, are they?
No, they're not. But I mean, for 2 of them, you get 80 points. It's still 20 points cheaper than 1 elf one. And so I think, well, they're not. I always take them. And the rock lobbers, they're great. I don't know. The catapults are always good.
Yeah, I think that's since the Demon book came out, just something with multiple wounds makes a massive difference. Yeah. You can.
Ben, I'm going to ask you, your quick hoppers. Just going back to that for quickly. How big do you run them? You run them 10, do you?
10, yeah.
Yeah, I used to run smaller ones, and recently I've just been.
Yeah,
they get a bit of just because you're always going to lose some on the way, you know.
Yeah, I used to have 7, but then found that when they got into combat, there was only 3 or 4 of them, and they just didn't quite have enough punch. So yeah, 10 of the bad boys now.
Yep.
Okay, so looking at the rare choices, is it a giant for the win?
I do like my giant.
Yeah, the thing is with the giant, someone's always got a story. I'm sure Guns will pipe in now with his story about his giant.
I just think something that's leadership 10 doesn't panic from anything else in the army. It's in the army that's got weak leadership and not great combat. It's just unbelievable. I think it's I mean, there's a lot of shooting these days, but in those days I just hide it and don't bring it out until the shooting's reduced But he's such a good model in this army.
It's another unit that breaks the movement rules, isn't it? It's on a 50mm base. It pivots. It doesn't have to wheel. It can go in any direction. Well, it's not on a 50mm anymore. It's on a 50 by 70 or something. Yeah, but it's another unit that can just abuses the movement rules, which is always good.
Yeah. See, mine just runs forward, whether they've got shooting or not, because
you see it as it takes the shooting away from the rest of your army.
Yeah, I tend to agree as well. It's the other way. The problem is if when I abuse him around my army, if he does happen to go down, it's a lot of panic tests where
it is, but then it's got to get a lot of shooting to take him down in 1 round.
Not really.
Man, Earl's eating. The bolt throwers.
Okay, so I use Dark Elves. I'd kill it in 1 go. Use Empire. Your Empire would kill it in 1 go.
Okay, maybe.
You know what I mean?
Maybe you're right, but then I don't care.
You don't care. You just like it.
Yeah. I don't.
I always take one. I don't think I've it's very rare that I haven't taken one. I think he's a beast. He's
Like
good.
you say,
Yeah.
anyone who's played Warhammer long enough has got a good giant story.
Yeah.
And
of
everyone
course,
knows my story where he ate the Vampire Lord turn 2 on a big tournament. That was
Dear.
Did he not eat him
against Mac.
again? Was-
No, so this is the same player. This is my story. So he ate his Vampire on turn 2 as one game. Another game, I was losing the combat with my Wyvern. I got totally outflanked and everything by his movement spells. And I lost combat by, I'm pretty sure it was something like 16. He wiped out a whole unit, had flanks, rears, and I yelled and bored. So, and then the next turn, my whole army charged in and smashed him.
I love that. I love doing that is just so much. Oh,
It's so unreal.
your opponent's
And,
face. Oh God.
Evan Ferris charged his Bloodthirster in. This was against Trent Dennison, I think. Charged Bloodthirster in. It was the ASF giant in the Warriors list, which is a bit different. But he chopped him, got some wounds back, then died and fell on him and killed him. So he chopped him for D3 wounds and then fell on him for D6 and ended up killing the Bloodthirster.
Oh, nice.
So there's they could do so many different things. I think they're really good.
Yeah.
You had a bit of action like that, didn't you, at the Masters against Isherwood?
I was playing Andy Isherwood with his it was Twat Star of Flesh Hounds, 18 Flesh Hounds in one unit.
Yeah.
He had them in 3 ranks. He had 6 Screamers that flew over the giant and did 5 wounds. He then charged I charged the giant into the Flesh Hounds, swung with club, did a ruckload of wounds. Then he did 1 wound back to me, killed me, and I fell into the middle of the unit and won the combat by about 14.
Was your Wyvern in there as well?
There was some, I can't remember what else. I think the Wyvern might have been in combat as well, but it was ridiculous. And it was all because the Screamers had flown over it and done 5 wounds in one turn. And at that point, I was like, "You're kidding me, aren't you? 5 wounds from 6 Screamers. That's just ridiculous." And it was that cost him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And eating Tomb Kings as well. My giant's eaten so many Tomb Kings.
Really?
Yeah, no end of them.
It is good when a giant eats something.
Yeah.
Or shoves it down the
Oh,
pants.
Yeah,
Best.
Standard Pants is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's for me. It's almost always the one play. I always take one. They're good.
Yeah.
I remember a giant killing my old blood once. I charged him the old edition of Lizard Men. Charged him with my old blood on foot. It had taken some wounds. Charged in, did a load more. Not enough to kill it. He tried to pick me up, and I slapped him to death while he was trying to pick me up. And then he fell on me and killed my old blood. It was ridiculous. But like you say, yeah, it's always good. So giants, probably a bit rubbish, but ever such fun.
Oh God, yeah. What else we got? We've got pump wagons. I've used them a few times. Pair of them. Not very good, I'll be honest.
It's struggling, isn't it? Because if you want to take a giant, you want to take a Doom Diver, because everyone takes a Doom Diver.
Yeah.
Or 2 Doom Divers in some tournaments.
Yeah.
You're going to struggle to get your pump wagons in as well.
Yeah, I mean, I bought them and made them and painted them up and was really happy with them, so I used them stubbornly for about 4 months.
Yeah, and then got rid of them.
And then realised, actually, these are quite awful. Sometimes they're incredible. Do you know what I mean? When they both get charging off 10 inches into the front of something and just decimate it.
Yeah.
It's great. But other than that, they're not.
Yeah, I've used 2 a couple of times. So the 2 ways I've used them, once I've held on the back with the war machines, and then if something's going to come and threaten, I move it towards it. It works a little bit. The other one I do is I put it in line with one of my infantry blocks.
Yeah.
And the whole game, I'll hit it against the infantry block, so it stays in line with it.
Yeah.
And then when they go to charge, they should charge 7 inches on average. So if you get them to charge one of the infantry blocks, it's 2d6 strength 4 impact hits, and I find that has tended to work in the past a bit.
Yeah.
So, just I butt them against the infantry block as I'm moving up or whatever, and then so I've used that before, and I mean it's not too bad. Like say the turn they come up, they might get my fanatics out. The fanatics might do some damage, and the next turn I can normally charge everything in. Or so it has worked, but they're a bit hit and miss.
I tended to use them in tandem down the flank.
Okay. Yeah.
To keep stuff in check, really. But again,
Stop fast cavalry.
stop
down
fast
the same
and come
flank.
around. More of the threat of it, really, because okay, they can go 12, but they can also go 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what I mean? So, but I think that's part of the fun of orcs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just a random crap.
Yeah, of course it is. So
Trolls.
do you guys use trolls? I know you've never used them, have you?
No.
I know you bought some, didn't you, and then sold them?
Yeah. I've not sold them. I've got them
right.
in my cabinet.
So I have, to be honest, all my times I went well, I never had trolls.
Yeah.
I think Doom Diver and Giant is probably the best combo. It's like well, it's an Oklahoma version of a Hydra and Bolt Trolls,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It is.
It's not quite as good, but it's so I've done that with the trolls. I've used single trolls before, same as before. I use them as diverters
Yeah.
and to protect the lines. Um, if you're playing a very defensive list, so at the moment been toying with or just an army that just contains so much shit in it that you don't and it doesn't have any big point sink. And if you don't want the trolls to move and they sit in front of your fanatic unit that has 3 fanatics, for instance, right, an goblin unit, I've used them before like that to do the fanatic trick,
Yeah.
and they go a little bit scary sometimes to some units. I mean, even if you have 3 of them or 4 of them, they can vomit on a knight unit. They're going to do it some damage. So I don't know. But to be honest, if I'm serious about a tournament, I don't take them.
No. I mean, I know I've seen a few people take them as single ones, but they're only
Yep.
movement 6. They're not
Yep.
not ideal at it, are they?
No.
No, for 40 points, and it's not the points really. It's the rare slot
Yeah.
again.
It's
Like,
the fact that you're not having
and
a Doom Diver and a Giant.
yeah, I find so if before we're talking about the Goblin Chariot, it's 60 points. So if I spend 60 points and that's one of my special slots, I find I have so many points to spend on nothing else.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the core, I don't know, I run out of I run out of
Run out
things
of
that
men.
make it useful. Mm.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, it gets to the point where you get so much core you can't maneuver anymore, and just they don't really help. And so I tend to, yeah, I just think Doom Diver and Giant for the res.
Fair enough. Okay, so that's a quick rundown of the units. Now, I think the characters. Characters make most armies nowadays, but particularly with the orcs, I think they keep the units in line basically. So what sort of setups do you run, and does what you choose in your character selections have an impact on what units you have, or do you choose your units and then your characters you know what I mean? How do you look at it?
Well, it doesn't really directly affect what units attack for me, to be honest with you.
Same here.
I've took the
Yeah.
same Lord in almost every game I've played with them, which is a Black Orc War Boss, either on a boar or a wyvern, with heavy armor, enchanted shield, collar Zorga, iron gnashers, and shaggers.
Shagger's Screaming Sword, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm exactly the same. That build is. I have sometimes swapped the Nashers out for a 5-up ward.
Pussy.
Sometimes. Yeah.
So yeah, I've played against Ben's army. Someone else was using it, and he had the ward save on it, and he ward saved 3 killing blows off my ward dancers, and I was like, Ben never had the ward save.
No.
That's rubbish.
No ward saves. Ward saves are for girls and elves.
But I've done the same thing, and the reason I think this book doesn't have a lot of synergy between the units and the characters. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
That was something that was rumored on Warseer before it came out. Was that if you took a Black Orcs
Yep.
would be core. If you took a Goblin, Squiggards would be core. That sort of thing. And it was rumored to work that way, depending on what your general was, depending on what units you got.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Yes.
but never materialised. Whether it was ever thought of, I don't know. But obviously, never ended up that way.
Now you talked about synergies between the characters and the units. Do you not think it's got one big one, which is a Black Orc makes a unit automatically war on the turn it causes, or it stops it from squabbling as well?
Well, that's what you want. You need Black Orcs. Period.
Yeah, I think when I say I agree that's what it does, but I don't know. Like I normally run him on a wyvern,
Yeah.
most of the time, and then the other times I have run him on a boar. But you got to be careful, Ben, what unit we put him. I remember running him with boar boys, and one time, no, I'm not kidding you, he killed 6 of them in one turn.
Yeah.
Roll 6 and roll 6 3+s.
Yeah.
And they got no save.
Ben did that as first tournament you went to, didn't you?
First tournament, first game, GT final. First game, sits down. I go first. No, in fact, no, tell a lie. My opponent went first, moved forward. I was like, right, I'm going to wah. In fact, no, sorry, I'm completely lying here, aren't I?
Wasn't war.
That was it. I went first. Rolling away, one on the unit. It's all right. I bashed some heads together. 6 dead ball boys. Unit panics off the board. And also as well, because 7th hadn't been out that long, we were a bit unsure as to where the unit would run from. So it's like, I don't really know what to do. I tell you what, let's roll a scatter dice. That'll do it. It's straight back into my lap. I'm like, oh crap. Anyway, we spoke to the referee about it and said, what should we do? And he sort of wandered off to have a look in the rule book. In the meantime, me and my opponent rolled this scatter dice, and he comes back and says, "Oh, I found it. It runs straight off the table edge." Yeah, I've already done that.
Did that anyway.
So that was my first tournament with Orcs and Goblins. Bless.
See, that rule, that hitting rule, okay, it is good, but even with a big infantry block,
Yeah.
you do a couple of turns. It's 2d6 strength 5 hits.
Yeah.
And if you call the war, it's straight wounds.
Yeah.
So I tend to run him on a board to keep him away from bashing. On a wyvern to keep him away from bashing my own troops.
Yeah. I had him on a board for a long time, and then switched to a wyvern.
The other thing with a wyvern is it's immune to psychology pretty much. It won't take terror tests. It won't take any panic tests because he's a Black Orc. Less Black Orcs run through him or die near him.
Or a giant.
Or giant. So it's a pretty solid choice with that. And it's another unit that
breaks
abuses the movement.
Yeah.
I find, and the wyvern, I mean, the trick where you put it in front of a hill, they can't typically touch it. You call the war, you bump on the hill, and you can charge what you want.
That's old. That is now. It's all about the open ground now.
Yeah. What it was, Ben had probably a year of terrorising people with this, and it was literally that the tournaments in the UK was full of stories of Ben's wyvern warring over a hill.
It was Lizardman players as well, wasn't it? Because they think the Slan was safe. They'd have a priest near it, they'd have a Scarvet near it. You'd wire over the hill, you'd plonk yourself in front of the Slan and just pummel it with umpteen million attacks.
Yeah.
And just win. But
I mean, I've wired my way around the forest as well. You're out of sight. And it's good.
Well, you wired around the building in the White Dwarf Battle.
That's right. Yeah.
Not a lot I could do about it, because you went into a war machine and you know what I mean. You just had to sit there and take it. But and you also wired around open ground against Will Goodwin, didn't you? Called the war. You moved towards the nearest unit. That changes your line of sight. All of a sudden, you can see something you couldn't see before, and charge a lot of change, which promptly beat the wyvern to death.
Kick the crap out of me.
Now that fires people up. That one, because I forget to get the book out all the time and go look, because it's a bit dubious. You can't see something. All of a sudden, you call war towards a thing you can't see, and it opens up your field of that's unreal. But I get more grief from that at home than the fanatic trick. But
I'll tell you something though. Because the book, I think the book's pretty well written. I mean, you read the war section, and it's tiny. There's not a lot of words there for people to get confused over.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Well,
it's clear. It's clear. The book's good. Every time they get the shits because they think, but it's quite clear how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fine. So you mentioned before about whether my characters. The thing I find is my Lord's choice does determine what I do with the rest of my list. I've run a Goblin Shaman on a chariot and kept him close to the wyvern.
Yeah.
And used it a bit like that because he doesn't have animosity either. He uses his leadership for charging and terrors and stuff, and he takes ranks off as well.
It's a sneaky way as well, isn't it, of getting another chariot in for free, without a special choice.
Because that was something that was debated for a while, and now it's accepted that the chariots don't take a slot, and they don't, right?
No.
But that's what I find because it frees up a special slot. I find that solves a lot of problems in one go. I have run shamans on chariots before.
Yeah.
Because they still move 9. They're pretty resilient. There's only 6 hits them when they shoot them, and if the chariot gets destroyed, you just pop them in a unit that's near it.
Yeah. I've
done it before, and they don't have the big ones don't have animosity, and I find that works not too bad. So I've done that before.
Well, my magic's generally been, like I said, I tried level 4 a few times, but couldn't get on with it. So just basically dropped down to an orc level 1 with 2 scrolls, purely trying to roll big stomp, basically.
Yeah.
So I take it you guys both use a BSB all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I'll say yes. In most places, I've used it the whole time. Lately, I've been trying to do 3 level 2s, 2 goblins and an orc.
Oh.
I find the shaman, the goblin magic to be quite a good deck. Like except for the base spell, right? But I find the other ones are quite good. I don't know. Yeah, I
Um,
don't know about you guys.
the only reason I tend to go on the big wire is, like I say, trying to get Warpath because you don't need line of sight for it. So my scroll caddy can hide in a wood, hide behind a building, and two
Yeah.
dice on.
See, with the I guess with the little one, I mean, number two is 2d6 strength 4 hits. Gork will fix it's an awesome spell. Sixes become ones. You can
Yeah.
shut down vampire magic phases or Foot of Gork's unreal because
Yep.
it's anywhere in the table. The movement spell. So those 4 spells I think are all good.
Mm-hmm.
Where number 6 is a bit hit and miss, not that great. Number 1 is not that great. But I find all you want is one good spell because what you do, they're all 8 or higher to cast.
Yeah.
So if I get one good spell, I throw 3 dice at it every time. If it goes off, more often than not, the opponent's going to want to stop it.
Yeah.
And so I have run that pretty successfully. I do two little shamans, and then I'd run a 1 orc one. That's what I've been doing now, and I haven't been running because I tend lately on the bend with all the big combat units, the hydras and all the demons. I try to fight less and less these days. And my current build is more. My current build's more a lot of war machines, fanatics.
Yeah.
It's not links to divert much as I can, and try to shoot magic the crap out of them. I don't know. It's still hit and miss, but it's worked not too bad. So
Well,
I've run 3 shamans.
I've not used mine for a year now.
Giant Fanatic in
Sorry, I use
October.
use them at Giant Fanatic, but not used them in the UK since last year's South Coast.
Yeah.
I don't think. And my build then was probably quite defensive, to be honest with you. 2 units of boys, Black Orcs and Night Goblins, backed up by war machines, and then throw the Wyvern out and just let him go smashing things.
Yeah, he goes off killing. But does that not leave all your battle line with low leadership?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
But
does.
You like the Wyvern.
And
But if I've got big blocks and of goblins and fanatics and the snotlings and chariots, I don't know. I tend to not worry about it. I've tried that. In fact, I've got a scoop for you, Mr. Curry. I am more than likely going to take orcs and goblins to the United Nations Six Nations thing.
Really? Oh, good stuff.
So
That gives us an easy target.
that's what I want you to think because I'm anyway. Yeah, I've got an army that I've been trialing, and I hope the guys don't mind me saying, but it's not. It's obviously we're the mixed team, but I'm going to give it a go and see how it goes.
So you're coming with us as the 4th man for the Bad Dice team up to the northwest NWA, isn't it?
NWA.
Up to Durham for the teams event. So do you fancy using orcs in that?
If my captain would let me, I'd do it for sure.
If you want to use orcs, it means me and Adam can take demons and dark elves.
God.
Oh, yeah, I'll use it for sure.
We'll have to have a look. We'll have to have a look at the makeup of the team. But
Okay, well, that'll be cool. I mean, I don't know. I've used dark elves so much the last couple of years, and I'm using them for the ETC for the Oz team. So because that build I've locked it in for a while, and it's a little bit boring to be boring at the end, to be honest. So I'd love to use orcs. It'd be good.
good stuff. Okay, so on the subject of Lord choices still, Savage or Warbot on a Wyvern. Yeah. Do you not fancy that? Does that not just
You're not an
scream
orc player.
fun?
You are not an orc player, are you?
The only thing
why
is,
not?
I can't see what it adds.
It adds 2 attacks for a start.
But you
Yeah.
lose control of it.
But
I
he-
don't
But
know.
he's supposed to be going in there with a bazillion attacks anyway. Does another 1 make any difference?
2.
Only on the Wyvern.
1 on the Wyvern, 1 on the Rider. Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it would be brilliant.
The thing is, as well, you lose a pip of weapon skill, which
So anything with weapon skill 7 is going to kill you regardless.
yeah, maybe.
I totally agree with Ben Johnson on this one. I think you're.
Yeah, I know. I'm just playing devil's advocate
Yeah.
here.
I think a frenzied large flyer is difficult.
Do you remember when I played Ash Mitchell at Merseyside, and he had the Black Maul on his Undivided Dragon Lord, and obviously you start the game because we play closed list. You don't know he's frenzied unless you know the list. So he sets his dragon up in the middle of the board, and I just set the frenzy trap for turn 1 with my Way Watchers deploying in the middle of the table. So he's got to charge, and it was just horrid. Yeah, so frenzied flyers. Not
Yeah,
good.
I can remember playing Ash at that same tournament. I seem to remember somebody getting a bit of a mump on with a fanatic.
Yeah.
But let's not talk about that, eh?
I can honestly say, outside the first week the book come out, I have not fielded anything but a Black Hawk
No,
Warlord. I
no.
tried level 4 the first week and went, that's rubbish.
Yeah,
And
I
never used it
experimented a
since.
few times. Maybe 5 or 6 games of level 4, and then
Yeah.
first miscast was horrid. And then I went home,
Yeah.
read the miscast table, and went, "What the fuck?
It's all hard.
If I miscast, I die."
And that's if
Yeah,
you're
it's-
lucky.
Yeah, if you're really unlucky, your mates die. Yeah,
Anytime I've used level 4, I played a 3,000 point tournament and I took both. And I took a Goblin one and it was quite fun, but I would never
well,
do
yeah,
it.
that could
on its own.
work. That
Yeah,
could be
casting
good.
war on your
Casting
wyvern.
wire on the wyvern. Yeah,
So, so we're thinking Black Hawk War Boss. If you're going for a BSB, is it a Black Hawk BSB
Yep.
as well?
yeah. No reason not
Yep.
to.
Yep.
And so, what's your fourth character?
Well,
Another wizard, or is it?
Mine's a scroll caddy, and then the Goblin Dartman.
Yeah, you go for the Trixie Trinket on yours, don't you?
Trixie
Thank-
Trinket,
Oh,
one
yeah.
wonder.
Yeah. I've run that before on a chariot as well, that guy, you get no ward saves.
Yeah.
And you have Wallop as one hit wonder.
Yeah,
And I've killed heaps of stuff, the altars and Bretonnians scared shitless of him. So I've done that a few times.
that was
the other
only-
thing I've done.
Sorry, go on. Go on.
No. Oh, the Black Hawk BSB, I actually ran him in a tournament on a chariot because he also gets the wire automatically as well.
Yeah.
And the turn it's called, and he takes ranks off. I've used him a couple of times like that as well. It's been okay, but normally he'll sit on a ball in a unit babysitting the shamans or helping the bulk of the army.
So the guy on the chariot, since the book came out and Ben was using him, obviously we talk a lot about Warhammer, so I'd be reading the Orc book to see if I've got any ideas to throw his way. And I kept saying,
Yeah,
Black Hawk in a chariot with a banner of the war. And he was like, no, you
Yeah.
can't fit it in, you need this, you need that,
well,
you need your magic
that's
defense.
because again, I had the level 1 scroll caddy, and I had the dispel
Spirit
dice banner,
totem.
Spirit Totem on the BSB, who stood in the unit of boys. So you got six dispel dice, 2 scrolls. Stops the magic coming at you.
Yeah. And I was all like, yeah, I put the Black Hawk on the chariot with a war banner. And you
Yeah.
took it to Giant Fanatic, didn't you? How good was that?
It was great. I mean, I knew it was great, but in the grand scheme of things, I thought 6 dispel dice
Yeah.
probably better.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Two-
what I've
2d6
done
inch on
well.
your charge turn, on your war turn.
There's a couple of good things. It's probably the cheapest out of all the armies. You know where is it? The Staff of Sorcery in the Goblin book. It's only 30 points.
Plus
Yeah.
1 to the
So-
spell.
Yeah. So with my current list that I've been trying with the 3 I know it's 3. With 2 shamans you can do it as well. I give. There's also the thing of the Staff of Sneaky Stealing where you get one of their power dice and get it to spell.
Yeah.
It's like a bit of a double whammy. So I've managed. I find with 2 I can get fairly decent. If one takes 2 scrolls, other one takes the Staff of Sneaky Stealing or the +1 to dispel. I find the dispel defense, the magic defense, is not too bad that way. But I don't know. I've tried the guy on the BSB on the chariot, and that's another chariot. Doesn't take a special slot. I find it works okay.
I mean, yeah, when I took it to Giant Fanatic, didn't take any magic at all. Took the Lord on the Wyvern and 3 Black Hawk heroes. One of them 2 Black Hawk heroes and then the Goblin. And the guy in the chariot was great. 14-inch charge plus 2d6. It's horrible.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
you come from miles away.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I agree. It's been good.
But no, like I say, normal tournament sort of play has been the BSB and then the Goblin Man, who I just love.
So would you give him? You always give him the Spirit Totem, do you?
The BSB, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, I've kitted him out sometimes with a Sword of Might, Enchanted Shield if I haven't given it to my big boss. What's the other thing I give him? There's something else. It
What,
becomes
on your
fairly
BSB?
resilient. Sorry?
On your BSB.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, no, not the shield. Sorry, no. On a boy, he's a 3 with heavy armor. On a boy, he's a 3-up armor save, isn't he?
Got you, yeah.
That's right. And I've given him the Collar of Zorga. Do you give your guy on the Wyvern the Collar of Zorga as well? Do
Yeah,
you give him? Or
yeah.
what? Ah, okay.
To
I haven't
be
always
fair,
done that.
it
I've given
doesn't
my
do
BSB a
anything.
lot.
It negligible what it does.
yeah, everyone hits the Wyvern regardless.
Yeah.
Because they
That's
assume
why
your guy's got
yeah.
armour and a ward and high toughness and whip skill. So they hit
That's
the
right.
wyvern anyway.
That's why I give it to the guy on the BSB on the ball because I have to hit him, and he can, he's tough as five. He can hang around a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
The reason he's still on my lord is because that's my lord. That's
what you wrote years ago.
That's what I wrote when the book came out, and I've stuck with it. Do you know what I mean? And that's it. It will never change.
So what about all the other hero slots? All the goblin guys, I don't know, goblins on foot for like 30 points with a great weapon or something. You don't see any point in that?
Not really.
Add a bit of punch to your net unit.
Again, you're taking a character out that, especially in my army, it was all pretty much grounded and all had a role to play. So I sort of like played it for a long time, got what I liked, got what worked, and stuck with it. And I think that's why I did relatively well with it, because I'd worked out what did work and played that to death.
Okay.
I was the same. When I goblin hero, got a big boss. My big boss is either on a chariot or on a wolf, and he'll dart out and do his explosions, or wallop as one hit wonder, that sort of stuff. So
I like using him in tandem with the wyvern as well, so that whatever the lord's hitting, it's not getting a ward save. That's great.
Yeah.
That pisses people off. It really does.
Yeah. You
Challenge.
do that a lot to people, don't you?
Oh yeah, you're touching this wolf, man. Smash, smash, smash. You're dead.
Yeah.
And that's written quite clearly as well.
Yeah,
And I've done things where you can move the wyvern across. Say we want to hit the character, but leave a corner free so the other guy can make sure he's touching his corner.
That's it. Yeah, just a little hair's breadth of I'm in. No ward save.
Yeah.
That's the third thing that fires people up. They're going, I'm in a challenge, it doesn't count. No, mate, it says in the book, if you're touching his base, you don't get a ward. So,
I did it something beautiful to Marcus Pitt at the WPSGT. He'd got a Beastman army with 2 units of Bestigor with 4 characters in, and did a bit of cross-charging action. And Marcus was convinced that you couldn't cross-charges because that was what was in 6th edition. And he says,
that's an old rule, yeah.
Yeah, he says, there's a little diagram and all this. And there's a diagram in 7th. There's the same diagram in the 7th book, but the text is different. And it's like, no, you can do it. And then they FAQ'd the damn thing so that you couldn't do it.
You couldn't?
Yeah, and
really?
then they changed it back again.
Oh,
yeah,
fair enough.
Bizarre. But the wyvern went in with 8 strength 9 attacks and no ward save. And he went, challenge. I went, okay. He went, armor of damnation. Okay. I think it was like 8 hits. Oh, 7 hits. Ah, he's still dead. It was just insane.
Yeah, it was a bit good. So, the orcs have got like a multitude of magic weapons. You don't see the use of just like a hero in front of one of your boy units with some fighty stuff.
I took one to Giant Fanatic, but again, that was because I didn't take. That was in lieu of the wizard.
Yeah.
I mean, also as well, the magic weapons are cheap, which is nice. I mean, they're cheap because your generic chopper gives you +1 strength anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they're a little bit cheaper. But yeah, some of them have got. I mean, Mortog's Best Bash is probably one of the best ones in there. +1 weapon skill, +1 strength, +1 initiative for 15 points.
Yeah, that's the one I give my BSB. I run him with that, and sometimes the effigy of Mork, so 50 points for both of them.
Yeah.
And his weapon skill 7, -1 to hit, toughness 5, 3 up armor save on a ball.
Yeah.
And he's pretty resilient. I like, and his strength 5, isn't he? I can't believe the Black Hawk hero is a strength 4. That kills me.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. I had a bit of a naughty moment with that, didn't I? Once at Cardiff, not long after the book had come out.
I mean, in the old book, the Black Hawk champions were strength 5.
Yeah,
yeah. And you could give them great weapons to have a strength 7 in a normal unit. But anyway,
that's what I did at Cardiff, was using them with strength 7, smashing chariots, and then realised, oh crap,
you've been cheating.
I've been cheating. Didn't do it on purpose.
So the magic weapons I've used is obviously the Shaggers. I've used the one hit wonder and the Mortog's Best Basher, probably the main 3.
I mean, the Ulag's Auric axe is pretty good as well.
Yeah, the axe.
Reroll.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Strength.
I've seen a lot of lists you see on the net have got that on a Black Hawk instead of going for Shaggers, because can you not get the ward save, the killing blow, and the accurate axe?
I think you can, yeah.
If you don't go for Shaggers.
Yeah.
That's right.
And obviously a Black Hawk Warboss going in with 4 attacks with rerolls, it's quite good.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
There's what else is there? There's the pig sticker, which is pretty cool. Um,
Yeah, the thing I found with that, it's the current rank bonus.
Yeah, no
So
one uses
if
ranks.
you charge it, no one uses ranks, especially in the UK, Ben, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
And then if you charge a flank of a unit, it actually doesn't work either because they've got no current rank bonus.
And you don't really want to go be in the front, even with +3, because your 3 attacks
Yeah,
aren't going to kill 3 men.
I know.
yeah.
Just like
So
I just like the idea of it.
I think it's good on a hero in a ranked unit.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
else we got?
Anyway,
Okay, so what about the school wand on a wizard, on a Savage Orc Shaman with a school wand?
It's a lot of points
It is, yeah.
that you're not. Do you necessarily want your shaman fighting in the first place?
Yeah, but you kit him out to fight and you treat him as a throwaway, don't you? Look, I mean, there's a guy in the UK, it's Craig Johnson's been using it, and he's been catching a lot of people out of it. It's quite
yeah.
funny, really, isn't it? Is it something you think's worth it, or is it just a novelty?
I think it's a novelty, personally.
yeah, me too. I think. I mean, it's leadership. It's not an instant death anyway. It's a leadership test, right?
Yeah.
Yep, on your base leadership. So things like Hydras are on a 5, Stegs
Yeah. Okay.
6.
Yeah.
What you got? What else?
Yeah,
you got?
but
Dragons are on an
You
8.
pass it, you're dead.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
shaman's dead.
Shaman's dead. Yeah.
And again, like I say,
It's a lot of points. Yeah.
the way my list sort of evolved, there was no spare throwaway shaman slot. The thing is, as well, it's not necessarily that throwaway because how'd you get him in there in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. It's got to
Do
be
you
in
know
a
what I
unit,
mean?
anti.
You stick him on a wolf, I suppose, but then you've got the whole fear issue. I don't know. I don't see it as something you're going to have in as a optimal choice, maybe.
No,
But,
he's coming in at about 126 points, I think it
Yeah.
is. But Shaman on a ball with a school wand.
do you give it a goblin shaman as well?
Can you?
Yeah.
It's Savage Orc
Yeah.
Shaman only, isn't it?
No, shaman.
Oh, Shaman's only. Yeah, of course. So you want
it
it on the
says Shaman.
Savage Orc. Want it on Savage Orc for the extra attack with Frenzy.
Yeah, pretty much.
And if you want it on a Lord, you could give him the boots for the 3rd attack, which is just insane.
But then again, you're going in with one attack that you've got to hit with. Then they've got to fail a leadership test. You put it on a savage
Yeah.
orc, they've got to
Yeah.
hit with 2.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When it goes off and someone's dragon dies or something like that, it's ace.
So it's just a bit of a novelty then we've
Yeah.
agreed on.
I think so.
Okay. So I think that's a good overview of the book, the characters, a few of the magic items. Any more choice magic items in there what we've not talked about, which you quite like as maybe a novelty now and again? So obviously the killing
mentioned
blow
the-
on your
yeah.
war boss. There's also one that gives him an extra attack if you wanted.
There's a few banners that are all right. I mean, there's like I said, the banner of butchery. That's awfully good, where everything gets an extra attack. The wild banner we've spoke about. The spider banner is not bad for goblins. Everything gets poison attacks.
So you can have a big unit of bowmen with poison attacks.
Yeah. The badman on a stick, which makes a unit stubborn, which not awful.
The problem with both those, the spider banner, is that it needs to go on a goblin BSB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
So, I mean, yeah,
I think it's something that you could theme an army around rather than being
yeah,
particularly
Yeah.
good. It's and same as the big red banner. Everyone within
Yeah.
all goblins within 12 reroll panic.
You see, if you're having a goblin army, I'd have that in every.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? If
yeah,
you-
they do. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But again, it's you've got a goblin army.
yeah, but I don't know. Can you make goblins work? What do you think?
Maybe to an extent. Stuck some black.
I
Ops
think in the
characters
old
into that.
edition where you had extra heroes and stuff, that they were definitely viable. You know, when
Yeah.
you used to get a hero for every. What was it again?
Was
If
it
you
every
were just
1,000?
goblin heroes. Yeah.
Yeah, was it every 1,000 points of goblins? Just goblins and goblin heroes was an extra hero choice, was it, or something like that?
That's right. You got 2 extra hero slots
Yeah.
under the standard tournament size. Yeah, that's right.
So then, yeah, maybe that would work, but again, I think
Yeah.
it's more of a themed sort of item, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ironback Boar, have you tried that?
I have tried that in the past. The reason why I liked it was because it gave them magical attacks as well.
Yeah. Yeah, charging into
Um,
things like wraiths and stuff.
That's right, yeah. So I did, yeah, it was fine. It's 35. You give him that and Martov's backup basher,
Yeah.
so he gets the +1 weapon skill and strength. And I find that was a fairly good kit out for a goblin orc hero on a ball.
There's a lot of nice bounce spells as well, isn't there, in the Orc and Goblin book?
Yeah, there is. I mean, I've never really used them because
You don't get them off unless you go with the magic build.
if you've only got a level 1, level 2, you're not getting your bounce spells off, are you? But yeah,
I've
there are
used
some
the
good-
Pipes of Doom before because it's not stop. You can't stop it.
Yeah,
And when going through the phase where Britannians were really popular and going well,
yeah.
I took that a couple of tournaments, and that used to scare the shit out of them as well. That wasn't too bad, but it's a once use, but it's not too bad.
That'd be good. Set them up bang in the middle, knowing you're going first, and pop that out.
Yep.
Running
Yeah.
forward,
Yeah.
and pop that out.
Yeah,
Call a
Squeak-
wall
And
as
the
well, so
big
you get an
lance-
extra movement.
Oh, squeaky bum time, that is, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. And the big lances would be 7 or 8 inches long, so
Yeah.
they fail. They'd
They're
be
off the board,
It was-
yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty good. I've used that a couple of times, but these days I haven't. Most things are immune to psych.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's probably not that good anymore. But
Uh,
the other things, the itty ring, I've used that before.
Yeah,
I've probably, it's good for picking off different things, 1+ save knights and stuff.
Okay, so I think we've pretty much covered the book. So just one thing I want to talk about now
maybe
is
maybe we should cover animosity.
that was exactly what I was going to say. So once you've got all your army,
Maybe we probably should have started with animosity.
well, no, I didn't start with animosity for a reason. I want to go through everything, speak about what's good and what's not in the army, and then talk about once your army's on the table, you've got it all lined up, and then you start at the start of the turn rolling dice to see if it works. How do you go about minimising the effects of animosity and playing around it, basically?
I think really all you can do is Black Orcs. Is it really?
I went through a phase of I listed all the things that didn't suffer and picked an army just from that for a while.
Yeah,
So it's all your chariots, your war machines, giant, black orcs, snotlings.
trolls.
But then trolls. You're going to have some things in your core list that you can't avoid it, but you have a black orc in them. I tried to do that for a while, and it wasn't too bad. It worked okay, but in the end, I think you worry about it too much. You might as well just roll with the punches a bit. I think.
Yeah. Just get on with it.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
do. I mean, I try and get Black Orcs in. Like I say, I got a BSB, so that keeps one unit in check. Got a unit of Black Orcs, so they're okay. After that, it's sort of like it's not the end of the world. A lot of times,
Yeah.
it can be annoying, but
You have to make sure if something does go and squabble, you've got something there to protect the flanks of them. And
to
things
be
like that.
honest, as daft as it sounds, the squabble isn't the worst one.
No,
The
it's
worst
the run
one
forward.
is when they run forward
Yeah.
all on their own.
It's a killer.
And
Yeah.
there's no you can do about it. That can be the worst. Because if one unit squabbles, just the units by it don't move.
Yeah, you've lost a turn, but
Yeah,
it's-
but if one unit runs 6 inches forward, you're kind of forced to.
everything's got
Everything's got to go forward with it, which might not be the best.
Yeah. And the night goblin units with fanatics, you don't really care. They don't move. So they can still unleash the fanatics the next time.
Yeah.
So I think, I agree. The 6 can stuff you up, especially if you get my arrow boys on a hill and they're in a really good position and they run off it.
Really good position with their bows and ballistic skill of 3. Rock on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Oh no, they've run off. I've lost 5 shots.
Anyway, we'll see.
Oh, that's it. When you come to the Six Nations, you're going to be smashing us with our boys.
I'm going to carve you up. I tell you.
Carve you up.
When we play Team England, I want one of you two. You're going to do the matchup. I want to take you on.
Not happening. Not
Yeah,
getting,
yeah.
Not getting beaten up by bloody Arrow boys.
No.
So back to animosity. Back on topic. I think you've just got to get on with it, and there wouldn't be orcs if they didn't have animosity.
No, it's characterful for the army,
Yeah.
but it must be damn annoying
But-
playing with them.
I just think for 3 editions in a row, I've screamed it out. The rule's fine. If you can charge on that turn, you can override the animosity and charge, and that's even more characterful because orcs love fighting.
Yeah.
So if you fail the animosity, okay, look, that's in charge range. I'm gonna charge. And I
So
think that way,
maybe move it from the start of the turn to after declaring charges.
that's another thing. Yeah, another
So
thing
you
can
declare
do.
your charges. Anything that's not declared a charge, test for animosity.
Yeah,
Yeah, that could work. But then how many times do you get a lucky? Oh, I've rolled a 6, or I've rolled another 6. Oh, I'm charging your flank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you'd miss out on that, which is great.
Yeah.
And then I suppose how would WoW work if you did that as well?
Yeah. I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, there's one thing what you said. The animosity. I always used to do it at the very start of the turn. It's actually at the start of the movement phase.
Yeah.
So it's after
Yeah.
you do all your terrors and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Because in the
sir.
past, I've done it first, got the wire, moved in, and then I don't have to do my tests, but it's wrong.
Well,
So I'm
even
just
in
like,
the start of the turn phase, it's got a step by step. It's terror, stupid, and then other,
it is,
and
yeah.
that's what I've
So I
always
used
used.
to,
And in fact, I even think in the other bit it mentions animosity,
Yes, it does.
which is where I've always sort of like quoted the rule from. Like you say, you can't animosity out of terror.
Or
If
into it.
that's right. You can't. Yeah, yeah.
No, or into it. No.
Okay. So I don't know if there's much else we need to cover. I mean, let me just check my notes.
The WoW would probably be a good one.
Yeah, good
You
point.
know what I mean?
So yeah, moving on from animosity.
The one good thing they've got.
Wow, we've touched on this with the wyvern moving around the hill and over open ground and all things like that. But is there anything else it comes in handy with? Does it catch a lot of people out? Do you plan your game as where you're moving your units early on to looking for the turn where you're going to war, or do you just war when it seems appropriate during the game?
Yeah, whenever it seems appropriate. Normally, I'm a bugger for turn 1.
Turn 1.
Yeah, I've got to be
Nice.
honest.
Especially if you're going second.
Yeah, get him in, get him fighting.
I find, I find because the goblin units only get one rank bonus addition to it.
Yeah,
So I think I only really I just call it when the characters are in position to use it.
Yeah.
Because that's all the Black Hawk hero and him. I think but it's amazing. Even the book's so old, the opponent almost always gets caught out when you call it. They go, shit, yeah, what about the war?
yeah.
Now, one thing I have seen done quite a bit from you, Ben, and some other people who play Orcs and Goblins is mounted characters in units. People not seeing the fact that they can war forward and then charge out 18 or 14
Yeah.
inches.
Yeah,
That's quite tasty.
yeah. There are a lot of. It's like Ben said. It's the one thing that saved the book from oblivion.
Yeah.
It was a good rule that actually, it is useful.
So I've used it. I've done it before where I've sort of like, again, like I say, my list was quite defensive. So pound them for 2 or 3 turns with as much shooting that you can get to them, and get the wyvern maybe in a flank side, so they've sort of stuck then.
Yeah.
That can work quite effectively, because then that means also as well you can tend to get your boys in, because like I say, my boys with 3 ranks and a character, they go on anything but a 1. So you get your boys going on anything but a 1, your Black Orcs going automatically, couple of characters on the wyvern, you get a lot of charges off when people just don't, like I say, just don't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so another big problem with the Orcs and Goblins is psychology. Now, obviously, you've got the size matters rules to mitigate that a bit. What else can you do to try and stop the panic, the terror, all that sort of stuff happening?
Terror is very little, unless you keep your general the bubble around your army. There's not a lot you can do about it. I don't think.
Is that not one of the bonuses of having the wyvern? The fact that instead of just using him to fly off, you could use him to have him in the right place at the right time.
It is, yeah. He's awfully manoeuvrable, and also as well, he can fly off, smash stuff up, and come back.
Yeah.
Which I've done a few times. But I think things like terror and fear, unless you do go with, like Gunn says earlier, units of Savage Orcs, not a lot you can do about it.
Now, what about the panic? Obviously, you try and put some fire breaks in.
Yeah, the panic, you've got to do that.
In between your Goblin units and Black Orcs in between your Orcs units.
I think just use the chart that's in the book. Goblins don't take panics from snotlings, etc., etc., etc. And try and break them up. I'll tell you one thing as well that's got me no end of times. The turn you call a war, and your fast cavalry that's all stood next to each other all dies. One unit rolls a 1, kills 5 of its mates, and panics its next door neighbour. Done that no end of times.
The fast cavalry stories I've had, having fast cavalry with leadership 6 tends to you always get these stories of oh no.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Always buy bullies. Always buy bullies.
Yeah, so when your
Period.
fast cav fleet it goes through your war machines, they
Yeah.
don't
Again, it
bother.
makes them immune to all the goblin panic.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just make sure that stuff doesn't die within 6 when it does die.
Yeah.
It's kind you just got to try
I mean,
and do it to as much as to your advantage as possible with, like you say, putting orcs, goblins, orcs. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
yeah, and you've got the Savage Orcs, plus you've got the Squig Hoppers, and there's a few things there that are immune to psych that you
Yeah.
can, mitigate it as well.
Excellent. So, is there anything else you want to cover on the Orcs and Goblins before we move on?
What would you like to see from the next edition? Next army book?
Yeah, because there's obviously 8th edition's been announced, the rumours are rife, and there's also rumours of an Orc and Goblin army in the not too distant future, but apparently Jeremy Vettock's supposed to be writing it as well, so I don't know, what do you think? What do we think to that, and what would we like from that?
To be honest, I don't think they need a massive amount, to be honest.
No, maybe not.
Yeah, I
think-
agree.
Take Dark Elves, for example. The last edition, they were one of the worst books. They got a lot of toys, but they didn't get a massive reshuffle, did
No.
they? You know what I mean? They got a few tweaks here and there. Hatred, armor piercing on the crossbows, a couple of toys,
A few
and-
things got cheaper.
and that's that, yeah.
Yeah.
So would Orcs benefit the same with keeping essentially the same rules, but Goblins at 2 points, Boys at 4 points?
Yeah, absolutely. Black
Yeah.
Black
Maybe.
Orcs certainly could do with being cheaper.
Maybe if the special slots aren't going to be an issue with the new rule book, maybe that'll solve the special slots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the same. I think the contents of the book, the units are all pretty good. They're probably a little bit too expensive at times,
Yeah.
and I think if some of the new infantry rules rumors about 8th edition are right, then it might solve some of their combat issues. But I think either make them cheaper or make them a little bit stronger in combat to match some of the new Uber fighting
Yeah.
things we've got. But I think they're not far away either. But
I think as
hopefully
well
we'll get something.
a few things that can make you immune. Maybe a couple of banners immune to fear.
Yeah.
That sort of
Maybe,
thing.
yeah, causing fear, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Um,
look at the banners in the Vampire book, or some of the books have a good selection of banners, and ours, a lot of them you have to have a Goblin BSB to use a lot of the Goblin ones,
Yeah.
and I think a few more banners. Yeah, I don't think it's so far. I think we've got some of the really good magical weapons already,
Oh god, yeah. The
So-
weapons are great.
but we've got no magical armor at all.
That's
Which
probably
they try to
right,
make-
though, for
I
Orcs.
quite like that though.
Yeah,
I've got to be honest. It sort of makes sense.
yeah, I don't disagree with that. I guess just want to. I mean, I don't know. I just hope that they do. The points are going to come. The goblins are going to be 2 points. I think 3 points in the current environment's too expensive.
Yeah, I think the goblins have got getting cheaper. I think the boys probably cheaper as well.
Yeah.
Or maybe give them a shield.
I'd like to see more done with the tribes, like the forest goblins. You know what I mean?
Well,
Something.
yeah. Again, we touched on that earlier, didn't we? That was rumored to be happening when this book was
But
being.
they've broken away from that. Like the Skaven don't really have the clan rules
Yeah.
anymore, and obviously the chaos that's totally mixed now. I don't know why. I always thought they were really good rules when they had them, and it's one way to keep a book under control.
Yeah,
Like you could, even the Dark Elves, they could do a bit more with the cane actions and limit your choices, but they just tend not to do that these days. I wish they would. I mean, I don't mind having 9 specials if I chose different lords, some of those specials become core.
yeah.
So I think that way you can. I don't know. I don't understand why
I
that
think
doesn't seem
if
to
you
be.
look at all the books nowadays, they're all very streamlined and very simple, aren't they? There's no 0-1s anymore. There's very,
Yeah.
very few 2-for-1s. And I just wonder
Yeah.
if that's what they're doing, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah,
Everything's
looks that way.
streamlined and simple, and you don't need to have, almost separate army lists. You know what I mean? If this becomes this,
Yeah.
if you take this.
Mm.
But
I never get excited. The one time of all that I get excited about Warhammer is when the Orc book comes out. It's the highlight of every cycle, which is every 4 or 5 years these
Yeah.
days. But I can't wait for the new book. It's going to be cool.
Good stuff. Well, on that note, I think that's our Orc and Goblin book review. So
Yeah, hour and a half's worth.
yeah, if you're listening and you think that we've got it all wrong, feel free to let us know. You can contact Andrew.Galea. No, seriously, if you think we've got it wrong, let us know. It's the Benz at baddice.co.uk. And yeah, let us know your thoughts. I'm gonna hopefully get a guy on who won the Colonial GT in the States with an Orc and Goblin list recently. So hopefully he's going to be coming on to speak to us on a bonus content show. Now, this guy used Savage Orc Warlord on a boar, 3 units of Savage Orc Boar Boys, and it was just a run at you and smash your list, and it seemed to work quite well.
Yeah, but okay.
Okay.
I'll have a chat to you guys after the United Nations as well if you want. Let you know how I go with my massive exploits with the Orcs and Goblins.
Yeah, sounds good to me. So on that note, what do you think to the Orc and Goblin comp for the ETC? Like we've just spoke about, what'd be good on the new book?
Make it all cheaper.
Make it all cheaper. Is that what's been done? Make it all cheaper and less competition for special slots.
Yes.
Because the ETC, for those who don't know, the Orcs get 2,600 points, so they get more points than everyone else. Everything that's killed is cheaper by 20%, and you get the same special and rare slots that a high elf will get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that do the trick? Does it make them competitive?
It does, yeah.
It does. It makes a massive difference. Like, it doesn't make them over the top, but they definitely can compete better.
Yeah, it makes them worth a lot.
Even the Giant, the Giant's worth, 160 points instead of 200.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different things. Anyway, the army I'm using, seems to be okay. I'm going to give it I think it's worth giving it a go. I mean, I don't know whether it'll be, you're not going to swap out some of the big lists for it, but I'm going to give it a go.
So it's not in Team Australia then?
I got vetoed.
Really? Oh, brilliant! I like that.
No, to be honest,
Nice.
it was given an opportunity to say I could take it. I had to prove it by playing games, but I couldn't be honest with myself and say I was going to go as well as I would with my Dark Elves. So I didn't jeopardise the team. But
The question
think,
is, do you have another Dark Elf player ready to jump in who's played as much?
no, the option was going to be not take them.
Oh,
So it was no. Yeah,
No.
it wasn't
No.
serious. They amused me for a while and then went, are you serious?
Yeah, well,
no, but it's.
I mean,
But
well, let's be honest, we
the
looked at them as well, didn't we?
yeah, we looked at them.
But it didn't really get much further than that, did it?
No. To be fair, I think we'll see quite a few. I imagine anyone who's got a good, solid player who plays them a lot, it will probably bring them. Like
Yeah.
the Swedish captain this year, Morgan's played Orcs and Goblins for the last 2 or 3 years. So he'll be rubbing his hands because all of a sudden his Orcs have got a boost. And some of the other countries are the same. They bring them anyway because they've got a good, solid player who's played them constantly. Like our first year there, we took Ben with the Orcs because he was playing them solidly.
Because you got me pissed up and convinced me to take them.
Convinced you that I should take the Wood Elves and you should take the Orcs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope I'm not sure whether the Germanys and the Italians and the Denmarks out there will all be taking them, but I don't know. We can only hope. It'll be good to see a wider range of armies at the ETC.
I think that's all you can do. I think all you can do is try and make them at least
More attractive.
compete rather than being just a no.
Yeah.
Which I think is what you've done.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've done a good job. I think it's at least worth consideration. And
Yeah.
I hope we do see them now. They'll be really good to have some of those armies at ETC.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be really good. Okay, so I think we're going to let you go. Do you want to give out a plug before you disappear?
Well, I'm flying to England for semi-permanently on Monday, so I'm going to be saying hello to everybody when I get there, and rankingshq.com. Check it out.
Yeah, good stuff. So when you're in England, what's your first tournament you're doing? Have you got one lined up?
No, I'm going to the Maelstrom. There's one at Maelstrom Games.
Yeah, there's summer incursion.
That's right. Yes, I'm going. I've spoken to Gary Moore from Maelstrom Games, so I'm going to be going to that one. I'm playing the teams one with you, and I've actually become quite keen at playing War Machine, so I'm probably keen to have a few games of that with the guys there as well. So we'll see how it goes.
Nice.
Good stuff. Okay, mate. Well, thanks for coming on and letting us have your time because it's really early where you are. So yeah, thanks for getting up and talking about the Orcs and Goblins.
Cheers, guys.
No worries. I'll see you guys soon, I guess.
Yep. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, so we're going to have a break, and then we're going to come back after the break and wrap up the show.
Hey dudes, just want to take a minute to tell you about the next big thing in wargaming. Rankings HQ is the new home for not only rankings across all game systems, but the latest social networking site for gamers around the world, including articles, image galleries, and heaps more. Create an account, track your personal progress, and compare results amongst friends and other gamers worldwide. Think you're the best gamer in town? Prove it at rankingshq.com. Join today.
Unseen Lurker is a new, exciting gaming magazine covering gaming, tactics, hobby, modelling, reviews, interviews, and even the occasional zebra. Each issue has a quarter of the magazine available for download, so you can try before you buy. It's the first independent global magazine encompassing articles from generals and hobbyists all over the world. Every issue of Unseen Lurker, that's Lurker with an E, is packed with giveaways such as custom dice, t-shirts, as well as the Game of the Month as reviewed by our Unseen Lurker test dummies. For more information, check out unseenlurker.com. Okay, so another show in the bag. We've just got some stuff to wrap up and things like that before we go. So, you want to cover before we clear off?
No, not really.
No? Is that it? Okay, bye.
Monaco Grand Prix at the weekend.
Really?
Quite depressing because this time last year I was there.
Oh, yeah, you went for the old boat trip, didn't you?
Yep.
Okay, so I went to the Derby Cricket Ground, not Monaco Grand Prix, but similar sort of stuff. Because you said when you went to Monaco, they were setting up all the stands.
Yes.
So I went to Derby Cricket Ground the other day to get some tickets for the cricket for someone's birthday. And walked in, and there's a groundskeeper there, and he's like talking to us like we're the biggest cricket fans in the world. It's like some old boy. He must see no one all day. And then he assumes anyone who comes to a cricket ground knows all about cricket. And they were putting the stand up for the Derbyshire Australia game.
Yeah.
Basically doubling the capacity for that one game. I fancy that. Sitting in the sun, drinking ale, watching cricket.
Okay. Yep. But it won't be sunny.
Yeah, I know. That's
Do you
the
know
problem.
what I mean?
That is the problem. Well, yeah. Sports, eh? Sports are warmer.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with that.
Okay. So, what else over the next 2 weeks to keep an eye out for? Oh, I know what we can talk about. Iron Man.
Ooh, Iron Man.
Oh, so spoiler alert. If you've not seen
Yes.
it, you might not want to listen. What did you think?
I thought it was ace.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I liked it.
It's a man in a big suit smashing things.
There's two men in big suits
Well,
smashing
that's true,
things.
yeah, too. War Machine's there, isn't he?
Yeah. It was good. I did like it. It was. I watched it. I thought better than the first one.
Don't know.
And then people have said not so much, but I thought so. It was like the first one, but there was two. In fact, there was more shooting.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
just,
got
God, disagree with that.
There was more shooting. I get that, but I did like the story in the first one.
Yeah, I suppose that's one way of
Got to
looking
be
at it.
honest. And what's his name? Jeff Bridges was ace in the first one.
Yeah.
So,
I'll give you that.
and also, I didn't like the fact that they changed. Is it Rowdy from one black dude to a different black dude?
Yeah, in the two films. See,
Yeah.
it took me a while to figure that out as well.
Yeah,
It's sort of, I was like, what? I don't.
yeah. Not impressed by that.
No,
But what's the face?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What's the girl in it?
Oh, Pepper
No,
Potts.
No. To the one.
Oh, Scarlett Johansson.
That's the fella.
That's the fella.
Damn. She looks good in that, doesn't she?
Yes.
Jesus wept.
Yeah, I liked it. So, Iron Man, if you've not seen it, go and watch it.
I'm not sure on the amount of stuff in there as well for Shield and all that. I like the first one where they just teased it at the end.
Oh, I kind of like that.
But now,
See, I don't know nothing about it because I've never read the comics or anything
I've never
like
been a
that.
massive fan, but yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people might just be completely thrown by that and not understand it in the slightest.
Well, no, so I'd fall into that category. But,
Well, yeah, but if
from
you're
that
not,
point of view,
if
I
you-
sort of went, that sounds interesting. I wonder what's coming up.
but if you've not stayed after the credits of the first Iron Man,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have a clue who this dude was with an eye patch.
No.
So,
It's a bit weird.
maybe.
No, I liked it.
Yeah,
I really
I
liked
liked
it.
it. I
So,
liked
yeah.
it.
Bad Dice recommend Iron Man.
Oh God, yeah.
That should sell them a few more tickets. Probably
Well,
not.
Thing is, again, it's not one of these. It's not an artsy film, is it? Let's be honest.
No, you go in, you take your brain out,
Yep.
eat popcorn and watch movies.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Exactly what Avatar was.
Exactly. You listening, Bobo?
Yep.
Strange Australian boy.
Okay, so other stuff before we shoot off. I don't know, catch us at tournament. We're 2 weeks' time. We're at Tempest Rising, aren't we?
Tempest, yeah.
So our next episode will be recorded after Tempest, and we'll be there with our recording tackle on the day. So yeah, try and catch up with us there. Hotels?
No, that's it, I think.
No. So yeah, well, you can, if you want to get in contact with us, get us on the bends, baddice.co.uk, or you can do us individually on Ben Curry or Ben Johnson at baddice.co.uk. Best way though is Twitter or Facebook, isn't it? Because we're always both on that.
Yeah.
Search for it. Twitter, Bad Dice Podcast, and Facebook is just facebook.com/Bad Dice. It's dead easy. Hotels, thanks to our sponsors, so Rankings HQ, Odd Games, and Unseen Lurker. So thanks to them guys for helping us bring the show to you.
Yep. And thanks for Guns for helping us out with the orcs.
Yeah. So hopefully that was of use to some people with the old Orc and Goblin book review. So yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next episode.
Cheers.
Bye. The preceding podcast was brought to you by Ben and Ben Productions. If you actually enjoyed the show and feel the need to tell other people about it, you can leave a positive review on iTunes. You can contact both your hosts at thebens@baddice.co.uk, or you can contact us individually on Ben Curry at baddice.co.uk or Ben Johnson at baddice.co.uk. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Bad Dice Podcast.